Vinny Pasquantino. Number 34, the first baseman from Old Dominion. Batting fifth and playing shortstop from Memphis, number 26, Alec Trella. Batting sixth, playing second base, number 17, Trevor Hopper from Arizona State. In the seventh spot, playing right field from Florida State, number 3, Nick Durr. Batting eighth, number 29, Todd Lott. He's the left fielder from Louisiana Lafayette. Batting ninth and catching from Clemson, number 14, Kyle Wilkie. The starting pitcher today for Hyannis, number 19 from Ole Miss, Houston Rock. And now for your Cotuit Kettleers. Leading off, playing first base from Creighton, number 24, Will Robertson. Batting second, number 12, the right fielder from Wright State, Peyton Burdick. In the third spot, the designated hitter from Coastal Carolina, number 45, Zach Bierman. Batting fourth, number 7, Thomas Dillard, the left fielder from Ole Miss. In the fifth spot, number 17, Eric Jones. He's the third baseman from Davidson. Batting sixth and playing second base, number 9, Corey Joyce from UNC Central. In the seventh spot, number 21, the center fielder, Andrew Smith from LIU Brooklyn. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, number 6, Adam Oviedo from Texas Christian University. Batting ninth and catching, also from TCU, number 18, Zach Humphreys. The starting pitcher today for the Cotuit Kettleers from the College of Charleston,
Check 1, 2, 3. Mike. It's a great day for some baseball here at picturesque Lowell Park in Cotuit, Massachusetts. Tonight's game, the Patriot Cup, begins between the Cotuit Kettleers and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, and we're happy to bring it to you right here on the Kettleers Baseball Network. I'm Sam Niederman alongside Sam Brief. Hyannis and Cotuit in Game 1 of 6 in the regular season for the Barnstable Patriot Cup between these two Cape Cod rivals. Game number 3 of the Cotuit Kettleers season, 1-1 on the campaign so far, coming off a loss on the road last night against the Wareham Gatemen, and the Kettleers try and get back in the win column, back at Lowell Park, and boy, it is good to be back, starting off what will be a good weekend of baseball. 4 of the next 5 games that the Kettleers will play here at Lowell Park, and we're certainly happy to be back in the home booth as well. So the Kettleers and the today's matchup. Sam Brief, good to have you along with us, my friend. Going to be a great game today. Pitching matchup, Griffin McLarty, a righty, going for Cotuit. And for Hyannis, Ole Miss's Houston Roth, another righty. Going to be a good matchup on the mound.
Yeah, definitely a good pitching matchup, and it's certainly good to be home for Cotuit. Long, late-night road trip yesterday across the canal to Wareham. Obviously, the game offensively at least didn't go the way Cotuit envisioned, especially after that 10-1 game against Brewster in the opener right here at Lowell Park on Tuesday. Mason Fioli, the starting pitcher for the Gatemen, out of UConn, really good lefty. He was on point, and he got the Cotuit offense off balance early on. Even when Wareham's relievers came in the game, the offense never really got back on balance. The hitters just didn't quite have that mojo, but back home today, the Patriot Cup is on the line. A lot of excitement in the air. The weekend is just upon us, and I think we might be in for an interesting day here at Lowell Park, Sam.
The 15th year of the Barnstable Patriot Cup. This series between the two rivals started back in 2004. Cotuit has won 9. Hyannis has won 4. And that's where we stand heading into this one. Cotuit winning last season 4-1-1 over the Harbor Hawks. They try and make it 6 of the last 7 years as victors in the Patriot Cup. Let's get you the starting lineups as the Kettleers will be in the field first. First for the visiting Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Their starting lineup coached by head coach Chad Gassman in his 10th season in Hyannis. Leading off and playing center field, Matthew Barefoot. Batting second, playing third base, Davis Wenzel. Pedro Pages is a designated hitter. He hits third. Vinny Pasquantino is the first baseman batting cleanup today. Alex Trella, the shortstop, hitting fifth. Trevor Harbour is the second baseman hitting 6th. Nick Durr, the right fielder, in the 7th spot. Todd Lott, the left fielder, batting 8th. And Kyle Wilkie is the catcher, batting 9th. Once again for Hyannis, Barefoot, Wenzel, Pages, Pasquantino, Trella, Harbour, Durr, Lott, and Wilkie. Houston Roth, the starting pitcher, a right-hander, on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. The Cotuit defense will be lining up much the same that we've seen across the infield in the starting 2 games of this season. From left to right, on third base, it's Eric Jones getting the nod once again. Adam Oviedo at short. Corey Joyce gets the nod at second base today after getting a day off yesterday. And Will Robertson once again will man first base. In the outfield from left to right, Thomas Dillard in left. Andrew Smith out of LIU Brooklyn gets the call in center field, making his first start of the campaign for the Kettleers. And Peyton Burdick is the right fielder. Battery today, Griffin McLarty, a right-hander on the bump. Zach Humphreys behind the plate as usual, as McLarty making his 2018 Cape League debut for the Cotuit Kettleers. 14 starts at the College of Charleston this past year. Out of Oldham County, Kentucky, Buckner, Kentucky native. He gets the call. He went 7-2 with a 3.32 ERA in his college season this past year. Cotuit will be wearing the red shirts today. And all home teams across the Cape going with Red Shirt Friday to honor our military servicemen and women, honoring our country with red shirts. Cape Cod Baseball League logo across the front, white letters and numbers, the usual pinstripe pants and maroon socks on the bottom, both teams wearing the camo Cape Cod Baseball League hats. Matthew Barefoot will start things off for Hyannis as Griffin McLarty winds up, dealing in the first pitch that tails outside, and it's 1-0 to start against Barefoot. And we're underway at Lowell Park. Hyannis and Cotuit, Patriot Cup Game 1 of the 2018 season. 1-0 from McLarty, dives off the plate once again, and he falls behind 2-0 against Barefoot, the leadoff batter for Hyannis. Hyannis and the traveling Blues today with the orange letters and numbers. The 2-0 from McLarty, sent back foul, and it's a 2-1 count. Barefoot, the center fielder, on the season, 2 for 4. He has a home run to his name and 3 runs batted in. Open batting stance for Barefoot. Right-handed batter on the right-handed pitcher, McLarty. The 2-1, tailed off foul onto the left side, and that'll even the count 2-2. Lowell Park with the big green trees behind the outfield. No ads on the outfield fence. Scoreboard in left center with the American flag. Still no breeze right now. Cool day in the early 60s. Cloudy skies overhead. The 2-2 from McLarty. Swing, breaking pitch, got Barefoot swinging, and that's a good comeback for Griffin McLarty. It's out number 1 in his first strikeout of the day.
Really good pitch from McLarty, rising junior out of the College of Charleston. He improved a lot, Sam, between his freshman and sophomore years. His freshman year was 0-3, an ERA above 6. Just last year, 7-2, 3.32 ERA. He's getting a lot better.
And he deals in a first pitch strike on the inside part of the plate to Davis Wenzel, starting third baseman for Hyannis today, making his 2018 debut. McLarty winds and delivers, off-speed pitch, hit high into the air, going down to right center. Andrew Smith on the run, but he's not going to get there in time. It falls for a base hit, and then Wenzel able to speed into second base. He slides in with a looping double that found a patch of grass out there in deep right center field.
Yeah, that was kind of a funky hit. It really tailed off. It started pretty much in dead center field and then hooked out into right center. Andrew Smith looked like he had a good break on it at first. I thought he might be able to make some sort of web gem, but then once the ball kept trailing, he had no chance. Just a nice piece of hitting, opposite field hitting from Davis Wenzel.
So this will bring up Pedro Pages, the 3 batter for Hyannis, with a runner on second base and 1 out here in the top of the first. Corner creeping in, Eric Jones at third base as McLarty throws a first pitch fastball, good for a strike at the knees. No scores. We're just underway here at Lowell Park. Cotuit and Hyannis. Barnstable battle between these two rivals. Runner at second base is Wenzel with the 1-out double. 0-1 the count to the batter. McLarty fires outside, and it's 1-1. Hyannis with white pants on the road with the blue little line down the side. Blue helmets as well. The Mets color scheme with the blue and orange, formerly the Hyannis Mets, and then changed the name to the Harbor Hawks in the spring of 2010. McLarty comes set out of the stretch, ready for the 1-1. Fastball, called, strike in at the knees, and a good location there from Griffin McLarty. He's ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
A very calm day here in Cotuit, Sam. Looking at the American flag just to the left of that Lowell Park scoreboard, it is completely still. 62 degrees, cloudy, no wind whatsoever. See how that plays a factor in the game.
McLarty with the high socks, comes set at the belt, looks in, kicks and deals. Breaking pitch just goes off the plate, and that's ball 2. Vinny Pesquantino, the first baseman, is the man that waits in the on-deck circle. Batter at the plate now, Pedro Pages. 2-2 count, 1 out and a runner on second base for Hyannis here in the top of the first inning. Griffin McLarty comes set, looks down and in. Pitch is fouled straight back into the fence, and we'll do a 2-2 again. Pages, a big catcher out of Florida Atlantic University, 6'1", 240-pound rising junior. Apparently a fan of reggae music. How about that, Sam? Interesting taste.
Yeah, you know, I haven't gotten too much into the reggae music, but I'm willing to expand my music knowledge this summer, if you want to take the dive with me.
The 2-2, spoiled off foul once again, just off to the right side, as McLarty clocked at 94 on that last pitch. But you've been introducing me to some new music this summer. You're more of a pop guy or have some basic taste, as you've described it.
My roots are in rock, but lately I've been getting a bit into the Hits 1 vibe.
2-2 again, hit high in the air, tracking over to the right side in foul territory. It's going to go out of play. No play for Robertson, who went all the way to the fence on the right side, so 2-2 still the count. Yeah, you like the Hits 1? I think Hits 1 in the summer is good. I think it's good to have in the summer.
Windows down, sunroof open, speeding down Route 6.
I think Pages Reggae would be good in the summer as well.
That would be good.
Let's try Bob Marley.
We got to go down there and ask him his favorite radio stations.
if he likes satellite, hopefully. Here's the 2-2 again from McLarty. Sent right sharply on the ground, but foul once again from Pages. And this count will stay at 2-2 once again. No score between Cotuit and Hyannis. 1 out in the top of the first. Runner on second base, Davis Wenzel, who reached on a double to right center field. It was a rainbow hit that was tailing, and it found its way down. McLarty comes set once again. The 2-2 lifted high back in the air, foul again.
Pages making Griffin work so far as a really good hitter. 309, 4 home runs out of Florida Atlantic. Showing his patience, showing his ability to fight off tough pitches. That was a breaking ball that hooked inside, and Pages just worked it off.
Pages the closed batting stance. Here's the 2-2 again. Off-speed pitch. Good-looking slider that time from Griffin McLarty. His second strikeout of the day, and that'll be out number 2 here in this first inning.
As they'd say in Boston, Sam, that was a wicked good pitch. Really liking the movement there from McLarty. Really a bang-bang call right on the outside corner. Pages looked totally frozen.
Vinny Pasquantino is the new batter, left-handed batter who takes a strike on the chalk. Good pitch from McLarty, and he's ahead in the count 0-1. Good use of the off-speed. He just froze him up on that last at-bat after so many foul balls. Went with the slider, and he got him looking. 2 strikeouts to start the day for McLarty. The 0-1 to Pasquantino. That runs way up and outside, and it's 1-1. 1-1 count, top of the first inning, 2 outs, and a runner on second base in Davis Wenzel. Reached on a 1-out double. He's been stranded thus far. McLarty trying to get out of this inning just fine. Comes set for the 1-1 and delivers. Bends in with an off-speed pitch, and it's 2-1. Everybody playing straight up in the outfield for Cotuit, wearing the Red Shirt Friday uniforms in honor of our military. Eric Jones playing pretty in on the corner and shading over towards second. Foul ball lifted high into the air on the left side from Pasquantino, and that's going to sink out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count now with 2 outs. Top of the first. No score, just 1 hit, and that was the Wenzel double to start off this inning. Griffin McLarty getting his first start of the 2018 campaign out of the College of Charleston. Right-hander comes set at the belt, looks back, and now to the plate. Fastball sent high in the air, left field, toward the line. Thomas Dillard ranging over, and he'll make the play in foul territory for out number 3. So a good inning from Griffin McLarty. The Kettleers hold down the Hyannis Harbor-Hawks. We head to the bottom of the first inning, scoreless here at Lowell Park. This is Cotuit Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. No score between the Cotuit Kettleers and Hyannis Harbor-Hawks here at Lowell Park as we enter the bottom of the first. Let's get you set for the Cotuit lineup this evening. Will Robertson back in the leadoff spot playing first base. He hit cleanup last night, but Mike Roberts gives him the nod at the top of the order tonight. Peyton Burdick drops down to the 2-hole in right field this evening. Zach Bierman, the designated hitter, into the 3 spot after his debut going 2 for 4 last night. Thomas Dillard bats cleanup. He plays left field. Eric Jones, the third baseman, batting 5th. Corey Joyce hitting 6th and playing second base. Andrew Smith, the center fielder, batting 7th. Adam Oviedo in the 8th spot, hitting at shortstop today. And Zach Humphreys is the catcher, batting 9th. Once again for the Kettleers, Robertson, Burdick, Bierman, Dillard, Jones, Joyce, Smith, Oviedo, and Humphreys behind Griffin McLarty, who worked a one-hit first to shut down Hyannis. And the starter today for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, Houston Roth, the right-hander out of Ole Miss, 5-1 with a 4.44 ERA in his 2018 season. He'll set the Harbor Hawk defensive unit. After the first batter, it's Will Robertson, the left-handed first baseman, who will dig in. The Blackwood bat taps home plate and gets set with an open stance against Houston Roth. 6'3", 215-pound sophomore rises and deals, and he puts in a first pitch strike with an off-speed pitch to start off the at-bat. It's 0-1.
Houston Roth, a really good pitcher, Sam. Last year in the summer, 20 strikeout game for the Elmira Pioneers of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League. This guy can deal.
His 0-1 off the plate. That was a historic matchup and a historic performance. We'll get to that a little later in the broadcast as we get ready to set the Hyannis defense. At third base, Davis Wenzel. Alec Trella is the shortstop. The 1-1 outside, and it's 2-1 now to Robertson. Trevor Hauver is the second baseman. Vinny Pasquantino, the first baseman. Outfield sounds like this from left to right. Todd Lott, Matthew Barefoot in center, and Nick Durr, the right fielder. Kyle Wilkie is the catcher and battery mate of Roth on the mound. 2-1, grounded, right side towards Hauver at second. He takes it, routine play, 4-3, and that's out number 1. Robertson grounds out to second, and this will bring up Peyton Burdick back in the batter's box at Lowell Park, and what a debut he had on opening day, going 4 for 4 with 3 home runs. 7 runs batted in. I'm sure he's happy to be back in Lowell Park after going 1 for 4 last night in Wareham. Not a bad night at all, but back in the place where he made history just a couple days ago against Brewster. First pitch he sees from Houston Roth is a strike on the inside part of the plate.
Back in front of the home crowd, heard a little elevated cheers for Burdick. See if he can swing it well.
Houston Roth puts his hand in his mitt, now winds up. The big right-hander fires to the plate. Lifted high in the air, right center field. That's a good smack, but under it to make the play is Nick Durr in right center. And that was a good contact from Peyton Burdick, but wasn't able to find the grass.
Very similar spin to the double that we saw in the top of the first from Davis Wenzel. Although that time, of course, the right fielder was just camped out right under it.
So now Zach Bierman is the new batter. Made his debut last night in Wareham, went 2 for 4. He comes up with the bases empty and 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Houston Roth, good fastball at the knees for strike 1. No score between Cotuit and Hyannis, as the Kettleers sending the Coastal Carolina Chanticleer to the plate here in the 3-hole. The 0-1 breaking pitch in there for a called strike taken just on the inner half of the plate, and Roth ahead in the count 0-2. Zach Bierman, left-handed batter, stands in. Here's the 0-2. Skips up to the plate. A good block by Wilkie even with nobody on. It's now 1-2. Houston Roth, Oxford, Mississippi native out of Oxford High School. Ole Miss Rebel was a huge part in them winning the SEC this past season. SEC tournament champs as well. Here's the 1-2. Inside with a fastball, but it's called for a ball, and the shortstop, Alec Trella, thought that was a called strike 3. He already made his way to the dugout. Bierman lives to fight another day, though. The 2-2 with 2 outs on the way. Just nipped off straight back foul, and we'll do another 2-2. A little bit of a slight breeze here at Lowell Park, but still not much doing in the wind department. It was very windy on opening day. Wind was blowing out. The 2-2 from Roth. Sent high in the air, shallow left field. This one will be straight up for Todd Lott, who will come on to make the catch. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Houston Roth. So the Kettleers go down in order. We head to the second inning of play. This is Cotuit Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Heading into the second inning here at Lowell Park, still scoreless between the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the Cotuit Kettleers. Sam Niederman alongside Sam Brief and our entire Kettleers media crew. Happy to have you along with us as Griffin McLarty will go back on the hill for his second inning of work, and he looked pretty good in his first frame, striking out 2.
Yeah, he definitely did. Strikeouts have been the name of the game for Kettler pitches so far. We saw 12 strikeouts on opening day against Brewster. Zane Collins had 4 in his first 5 innings of work yesterday, and so far McLarty off to a good start. Let's see what he can do against the 5, 6, 7 spots for Hyannis.
Alec Trella will lead things off. Trevor Hopper on deck, and Nick Durr in the hole. 5, 6, and 7 due up for Hyannis here in the top of the second inning. Cotuit out there in the Red Shirt Friday uniforms. Red uniforms with Cape Cod Baseball League in white on the front. White letters and numbers, wearing the normal pinstripe pants and maroon socks. First pitch fouled back by Trella, and he's down in the count 0-1 to McLarty. McLarty, the 6'3", 185-pound junior out of Buckner, Kentucky, College of Charleston product who comes here to the Cape. Here's the 0-1. Fended off foul once again by Trella, and McLarty gets ahead once again, 0-2 now. Camo hats for the Kettleers in the field, honoring our military men and women today with Red Shirt Fridays across the Cape League. The 0-2, once again spoiled off to the right side, another foul ball from Trella. Defense straight up for the Kettleers in the infield. Center fielder Andrew Smith shaded off just to the right. The 0-2 from McLarty, breaking pitch, hammered into the air, deep right field. Peyton Burdick on the run, but eventually able to get under it for out number 1. So leadoff man retired, and this will bring up Trevor Havers, second baseman, who will come to the plate with nobody aboard and 1 out in the inning. Kettleers trying to bounce back from a 4-2 defeat last night in Wareham. A tough night where their bats kind of went cold, only had 5 hits. First pitch from McLarty in there, good fastball for a strike, 0-1. Pitching was there as Zane Collins went 5 strong innings last night. He looked pretty good.
Got all that adrenaline, as we were saying in Wareham.
0-1 is upstairs. It's 1-1 now. You get to thinking that maybe the starting pitching could be a strength for the Kettleers this season. I know it's early, but that's never a bad thing. That's the one area you really want to be shored up in. The 1-1 runs inside, and it's now 2-1 to Haver at the plate.
Absolutely, and reinforcements still coming from the College World Series. Also offensively, still waiting on the pair from UCLA set to arrive later this week.
2-1, chop to the left side. Eric Jones has it at the corner. He'll fire over to first and make the play. A 5-3 putout. That's out number 2. And McLarty off to a quick start here in the second inning. 2 down, nobody on for Nick Durr out of Florida State University. Batting in the 7 hole for Hyannis. Shirt untucked in the back, tucked in the front.
You got to fix that. You got to fix that, Mr. Durr.
He'll dig in, right-handed batter with a natural colored bat.
Look good, play good.
Open batting stance. Here's the windup from McLarty. Good fastball, called strike at the knees, 0-1. Always have the shirt tucked in, even when you're broadcasting, right?
Yeah, we got him tucked in.
That's right. You've got the quarter zip today. Here's the 0-1. Sent back into the screen, foul, and it's 0-2. Durr, you can tell he's a Florida State Seminole because he's got the garnet and gold cleats and DeMarini batting gloves. Or check that, those are Nike, not DeMarini. Here's the 0-2. Once again, fended off to the right side, fouling out of play, and McLarty throwing a lot of strikes early on.
How dare you confuse your batting glove brands. I'm ashamed to be in the same broadcast booth as you.
I always did like the DeMarinis, though. Here's the 0-2. Strike number 3, Griffin McLarty. Another strong inning. He puts down the Harbor Hawks in order. His 3rd strikeout of the day as we head to the home half of the second inning. Scoreless between Cotuit and Hyannis. We'll be right back on the Cape Welcome back to Lowell Park, bottom of the second inning. 0-0 between the Cotuit Kettleers and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Sam Niederman alongside Sam Brief. 4, 5, and 6 due up for Cotuit in this inning. Thomas Dillard to lead things off with Eric Jones on deck and Corey Joyce in the hole. Houston Roth on the mound for Hyannis, their starter. Went with a 1-2-3 first inning, and this is a matchup we were looking forward to, Sam. It's Ole Miss against Ole Miss. Teammates in Ole Miss in college as well as in high school. A couple of Oxford boys facing off, and Thomas Dillard and Houston Roth on the mound for Hyannis.
Just a pair of rebels going at it. Let's see if there's any sort of acknowledgement between them, any shenanigans between this pair of college teammates.
Both a part of the SEC tournament champion Ole Miss squad in 2018 as Roth winds up and delivers the first pitch, which is taken right back up the box on the ground. Swooping over to field it up the middle was Trella, the shortstop, and he throws on to first for a good out number one. So Thomas Dillard hit it right up the middle, but Trella with good range for out number one.
And he was trucking into first extra hard, really wanted to get that infield single because now Houston Roth has all the bragging rights over Dillard.
Yep.
I mean, this is the leading run producer in the SEC, Ole Miss's best player, and he just forced him to ground out.
Good play by Trella, too. I think he's going to have to thank him for the range to get over. Otherwise, that would have been into center for a base hit. So here's Eric Jones, who takes a first pitch strike. 1 out and nobody aboard. No score between Cotuit and Hyannis in Game 1 of the Barnstable Patriot Cup. Roth winds up for the 0-1, delivers, tailing off-speed pitch outside. It's 1-1 now. Hyannis defense straight up, both in the infield and the outfield. The battery of Roth and Wilkie working against Eric Jones at the plate for Cotuit. The 1-1. Off-speed pitch called for a strike on the outer half of the plate, and it's advantage Roth, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Eric Jones, 1 for 4 last night with an RBI single back in the 6th. That gave Cotuit a 1-0 lead, which eventually was erased in the bottom half of that 6th inning. 1-2, sent high in the air, right side, and that's going to tail out of play, foul. A tough night for Cotuit and Wareham. Their first road game of the year results in the first loss of the season. Almost had a rally, though, with 2 outs in the 9th inning. RBI single from Will Robertson made it a 4-2 game and brought the potential go-ahead run to the plate in Zach Humphreys, who eventually popped out to third base, and the Gateman took the win. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pitch sent over to the left side. Losing the bat was Jones. Coming on at third base to make the play was Wenzel. And a good 5-3 put out there, and that was kind of a wild hit, a broken bat hit, as Jones was sawed off on the inside, and there's 2 outs in the inning.
It just splintered that bottom part of the bat. 90% of it is still intact, but just that bottom part splintered off as it hit right near the bottom of the bat, as one of the Kettleer bat boys brings it over to GM Bruce Murphy, who's inspecting it.
He just kind of hung on to the handle, and the majority of the bat went flying back to the fence.
Looked at it for a second like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah. Corey Joyce will step in with 2 outs and nobody on. He takes a ball inside. No score between the Kettleers and the Harbor Hawks. Bottom of the second inning. Houston Roth dealing on the mound out of the windup, the 1-0. Hit in the air, right side, and that's out of play, foul. Corey Wood back in the lineup after being on the bench last night. Started on opening day. Back at second base in favor over Corey Wood. 1-1 the count with 2 outs. Here's the pitch from Roth. Inside with a fastball called for a strike, and it's now 1-2. Corey Joyce out of North Carolina Central. Here's the 1-2 on the way. Breaking pitch, chopped over to the left side. Wenzel has it on a high hop, and he'll throw over to first, and that's the 3rd out of the inning. So the Kettleers go down in order once again as we head to the 3rd. Scoreless between the Kettleers and the Harbor Hawks. Sam Brief has the play-by-play. Coming up next here on the Cape
to beautiful Lowell Park. It's a 0-0 ball game, top of the third. Griffin McLarty, the junior righty out of Charleston, is still dealing, and he'll face the 8, 9, and 1 spots for the visiting Harbor Hawks. Todd Lott, Kyle Wilkie, and then back to the top of the order with Matthew Barefoot, who McLarty struck out in the first inning. The two teams, Hyannis and Cotuit, both part of the Barnstable County jurisdiction, so they're playing for the Barnstable Patriot Cup. It's been a thing since 2004. Barnstable Patriot sports writer David Coran coined the idea. And since the inception in 2004, Cotuit's won 9 Patriot Cups, and Hyannis has won 5. Kettleers have also taken 5 of the last 6. First pitch incoming from McLarty to Lott, and it's a rocket deep into right field. Burdick ranging back, it's over his head, and that ball is out of here. A home run on the first pitch of the inning for Todd Lott. The left fielder out of Louisiana Lafayette puts his Harbor Hawks up 1-0.
Good lumber on that from Lott, and it sounded good. Peyton Burdick just ran out of real estate. He was going back, and that sailed into the forest in deep right field, and all of a sudden, just like that, Harbor Hawks 1-0.
Yeah, a pair of kids now going out into right field to try and track down that ball. One of the beauties of Lowell Park with all the green shrubbery in the outfield is a home run ball just kind of disappears. And Peyton Burdick certainly saw it disappear. Here's Kyle Wilkie now, who sends a fly ball into right field. This time Burdick charging in, diving stop, he can't make it. It one-hops into his glove, and there's a single for Kyle Wilkie. So 2 pitches so far in this inning for McLarty, a home run and a single. And Hyannis now cooking. Here's the top of the lineup, starting with Matthew Barefoot.
Good effort from Peyton out there and right that last time, Sam. Hustled in hard after having to make a little trek out to the fence, and then that little flare was able to find the grass before he could get it in his glove, but he was able to stop it and not let it go behind him, which was big too, to limit that to a single.
McLarty sets, first pitch to Barefoot, swung on, and it's a ground ball through on the left side past the third baseman Jones. Rounding first, heading into second is Barefoot. He's there with the stand-up double. Over at third is Kyle Wilkie. He'll stop there. And that's so far 3 pitches in this inning, and each of those pitches have resulted in a Hyannis hit. A home run, then a single, then a double. Boy, these Harbor Hawks are coming out swinging, and now they're really threatening, Sam.
One of the things that was interesting to me reading in our writing team's write-up last night, it was our good writer Ben, who did a good write-up on how the Cotuit pitchers have looked strong through the last couple of games, and a lot of that has been just throwing strikes. And one thing that Zach Humphreys behind the plate adheres to is the rule of 68, that 68% of the balls hit in play are outs usually. But unfortunately here, that's not proving to be true. 3 hits, all of them, 1 went over the yard, and then 2 of them have been in play.
Here's the first pitch to David Wenzel. He'll take that one, and it's a strike right down the middle. So the first pitch of this inning that doesn't result in some sort of hit for Hyannis. And it's an 0-1 count now with Wilkie taking his lead at third. Barefoot over at second. Pitch out of the stretch from McLarty, a high arcing curveball that hooks too far outside. It's a 1-1 count. Infield playing in Eric Jones and Adam Oviedo on the left side. On the right side, Corey Joyce and Will Robertson all on the edge of the infield, maybe anticipating some sort of bunt situation. Out of the stretch, here's the pitch from McLarty, swung on, fouled off to the right side off the bat of Wenzel. Wenzel starting third baseman today out of Baylor. One of 2 Baylor Bears up and down the Hyannis roster. If you're just joining us, top third, it's 1-0 Hyannis in this quest for the Patriot Cup. A pitch out of the stretch, swung on and cracked foul. Down the third base line, 1 ball, 2 strikes for Wenzel.
I like the idea early on, bringing in the infield to sell out for that run that's going to be coming home. They're going to go home to Humphreys if they get the ground ball, and I like that because you want to keep this to a 1-run game if you can and keep it competitive early.
McLarty sets. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, and it's a skied-high foul ball off to the right side, and it falls into the forest. Count remains 1-2. Wenzel, we're seeing him for the second time today. He got us started with the first hit of the ball game in the first. A double into the alley in right center field. Now he's looking to break this one open. It's 1-0 Hyannis, top 3. McLarty out of the stretch. Takes a deep breath, now kicks and deals. Swung on, fouled straight back with a clunk into the green backstop just in front of us. We're in the press box here at Lowell Park. Right above home plate is our perspective. A cloudy day in Cotuit. Just above 60 degrees. Hardly any wind. Sun soon to set. McLarty sets for the 1-2. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a grounder to the left side. Jones is going to throw across the diamond to first for the safe out. He first made sure that the runner, Wilkie at third, held there. So McLarty gets an all-important out, and Hyannis has the same situations with runners on second and third. Again, that's Barefoot at second and Wilkie at third.
Boom. That's why you bring the infield in, Sam. Jones does a good job to look back the runner, then take your 5-3, out number 1. Now you're in a much more comfortable situation.
Last time here at Lowell Park, Cotuit was able to force 3 double plays. Let's see if they can get one here. That would keep this at a 1-0 game here in the third. Pedro Pages up now for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks out of Florida Atlantic. He struck out swinging in his first look at McLarty. Time called from our home plate umpire, Rick Emerson. Over at third is Frank Auditori. And at first base is Vincent Alexander Molina. First pitch to Pages in the dirt, ball 1. Pedro Pages, the catcher, playing DH today out of Florida Atlantic. 6'1", 240-pound native of Doral, Florida. And he's got a 1-0 count against McLarty. Second pitch is high near the head of Pages. And he's sitting in the catbird seat with a 2-0 count. 1 run on 4 hits for the visiting Harbor Hawks. No runs, no hits yet for the Kettleers. McLarty sets out of the stretch for the 2-0. Here's the pitch. It's right down the middle. No swing from Pages. Strike 1. Cotuit 1-1. Same with Hyannis. Last night the Kettleers lost 4-2 at the hands of the 3-0 Wareham Gatemen. And now here comes the 2-1 from McLarty. It's in the dirt for ball 3. Last night, Hyannis got an all-important 5-3 win against the Harwich Mariners. That was a home game for them. They broke the game open with 4 runs in the bottom of the 5th. Singles from Colin Hall, Taylor Garris, and Braden Como, none of whom we're seeing in the starting lineup today. Here's the 3-1 to Pages. It's in the dirt. A 5-pitch walk for Pedro, and now the base is juiced for Hyannis. But a double play situation now, Sam.
Yeah, that's never the worst thing in the world when you have first base open. So now you have the force at any base, potentially a double play. But never have been a huge fan of walks. But I think that McLarty was pitching around Pages there. And let's see if we can get a ground ball here as the infield will shift to double play depth after playing in for the last 2 batters.
The big 6'4", 230-pound lefty, Vinny Pasquantino next up. First pitch from McLarty is outside for ball 1. Bases loaded for Hyannis. Kyle Wilkie at third, Barefoot at second, and Pages at first. Here comes bench and pitching coach Jerry Weinstein to have a quick chat with McLarty, Zach Humphreys, and that entire infield. And Sam, if you're Coach Weinstein, what are you saying to Griffin here?
Keep it in the low part of the zone, get a ground ball here, and probably take a deep breath. I'd say listen if you're any of those players for the Cotuit Kettleers in that huddle, because Jerry Weinstein has been noted as a baseball wizard. Everybody is buzzing about the counsel and advice that he's been bringing to this Cotuit roster. A pitching guru, a catching guru. These are the kinds of situations where he can really come in and make an impact on the game. He's really having a positive impact on the Cotuit roster so far.
Weinstein, sporting his Kettleer windbreaker, high socks, and cleats, jogs back to the dugout. And the job is now up to McLarty. A 1-0 count for Pasquantino with the bases loaded. A 1-0 ball game in favor of the Harbor Hawks. Here's the pitch, swung on, fouled straight back into the parking lot behind us. Hope it didn't hit anyone's car. It's a 1-1 count.
Yeah, there's definitely a splash zone here in the Lowell Park parking lot. Probably in the first 7 rows, I'd say.
Splash zone.
Look out below.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
McLarty sets. The 1-1, here it is, swung on, and it's a skied-high fly ball out into center field. Coming back is Andrew Smith. He's under it, makes the catch. Wilkie gonna tag, no contest from the Kettleer defense. They'll yield that run. It's 2-0 Harbor Hawks on the sac fly. So an out, but a productive out.
Yeah, pitch was just a little up in the zone, and that's what produced the fly ball. Good job by Andrew Smith to get to that cut 3 that time and keep the runner at second base from advancing. They knew they weren't going to get the runner at third because that fly ball was so deep. So 1 out for 1 run. Could be worse things that happened.
Take that trade-off, especially this early in the game. It's 2-0 Hyannis now, 2 outs, runners on first and second. Barefoot and Pages occupying the bases. Now here's Alec Trella, who takes the first pitch and skies it high on the first base side. Will Robertson is under it, and he makes the easy catch. But Hyannis strikes first, a leadoff home run from Todd Lott. And then Kyle Wilkie comes home on the sac fly, and it's 2-0 Harbor Hawks coming into the home half of the third. We'll be right back with more Cotuit Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod. Welcome back. It's the Kettleers and the Harbor Hawks right here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Sam Brief alongside my wonderful broadcast partner Sam Niederman, our entire Kettleer video production crew here at beautiful Lowell Park for Game 3 of the 2018 season between Cotuit and Hyannis. And Sam, Hyannis struck first there in the top of the third. An opposite field home run from Todd Lott, and then they played another run on a sac fly, and it's 2-0 Hyannis. Kettleers still without a base runner in this game. They got to get the offense going.
Let's see if we can get the bottom of the order cooking. And how about Andrew Smith, his first at-bat of the regular season for the Kettleers? What a chance to do it. Let's get things started with the Brooklyn boy, LIU Brooklyn representative in Smith, who will lead things off for the Kets.
Andrew Smith, 6'1", 195-pound senior righty, digs in to face Houston Roth. First pitch from Roth, a breaking ball in the strike zone, and it's an 0-1 count. No contest there from Andrew Smith. Smith wearing the high socks, those pinstripe pants, and he swings and foul tips. The second pitch back, he's in an 0-2 hole. Cotuit wearing the bright red Military Appreciation Day jerseys. The bright red jerseys, they say, have the Cape Cod Baseball League logo across the front, white numbers across the back, and then the normal pants and sock combination for Cotuit. Here's the pitch from Roth. It's outside, ball 1. And every team across the Cape is going to be wearing those uniforms today. At least every home team will be wearing those red uniforms all season long. It's been going for a few years now to honor our military. Here's the 1-2 from Roth. It's a bit inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Ooh, that is a tough pitch right there. Just on the chalk, though, and they call it a ball, but Andrew Smith had to back out of the way, but that could be a strike with some umpires. A good spot from Houston Roth.
Smith sets, crouches down low in his stance. Roth fires from the mound, swing and a miss, strike 3. Houston Roth with his first strikeout of the game. He gets Andrew Smith. Now 1 out in the third.
Kind of surprising that that's his first strikeout of the game because he's been dealing along nicely, getting a lot of ground balls, 4 ground ball outs leading up to that. And he hit the punch out of Smith, only his first on the day. Kettleers have been making contact. Now it's just time to hit one where they aren't.
Adam Oviedo, the shortstop out of TCU, is up next. He was 0 for 3 last night at Wareham, and he looks at strike 1 and just hit the outside corner.
Now here's the DeMarini batting glove, Sam. That's probably
what
was programmed in my mind.
What should I be looking for here?
The D. Do you see the chrome D? Nice silver chrome D for the TCU.
The 0-1 from Roth. Outside for ball 1. Yeah, that chrome. I imagine on a sunny day, sun could reflect off that chrome and pretty much blind us in the booth.
Other touch that I like Oviedo with is his dog tag. Do you peek that on his chest?
Yeah, he's got the TCU dog tag. The 1-1 is fouled off straight back. He wears that all the time. Whether he's playing or not, he's got that TCU dog tag.
Nice and purple, very easy to spot, especially today with the red uniform.
Always nice on the Cape League to see players repping their teams at home. A little bit of Cotuit, a little bit of TCU. All that flavor for Oviedo. Here's the 1-2, swung on and cracked deep into center field. Going back is Barefoot, right up against the wall, and he makes the catch at shoulder height for out number 2. Some good wood there from Adam Oviedo, but it goes down as a fly out to center field.
That was one of the better hits we've heard from Oviedo. That one was a smack right off the barrel of the bat. Just hit it a little high in the air, and Barefoot was able to camp under in a deep center. 397 out to straightaway center that time, but nevertheless, a good swing and good contact from Adam Oviedo.
Now here's the 9-hitter today, Zach Humphreys, Oviedo's Horned Frog teammate. And he takes strike 1, a fastball right down Broadway, 91-mile-an-hour heat from Houston Roth out of Ole Miss, an Oxford native. Roth sets his long windup, now the delivery. Fastball that hits the outer corner, again 91, and this time it's strike 2 for Humphreys, who finds himself in a hole. Humphreys taps both of his Nike cleats with his bat. See, that's Nike. I can tell Nike. I see the swoosh.
That's easy,
Those are simple. Now here's the 0-2 from Roth. It's in the dirt. Wilkie keeps it in front of him. Actually hops into the umpire's chest. Rick Emerson. I think the ball just hopped right out of the glove of Wilkie into Emerson's hands, and then Emerson tossed it right back to Roth. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs for the 9-hole hitter, Zach Humphreys. Cotuit's starting catcher today. Deep breath from Roth. Now here's the 1-2. Swung on and lined into center field. It's down for a base hit right in front of Barefoot. Kettleers have their first base runner of the evening, and maybe some home cooking here in the bottom of the 3rd. Here comes the top of the lineup in Will Robertson.
Hit that baby right back up the middle, in the air, and it found a patch of green grass out there in center. That's what we were looking for. Like I said, first time through the order, only 1 strikeout. Everybody made contact almost, and that time Humphreys with the first base hit of the day.
Hit it where they ain't.
That's right. It's the old saying.
So
sometimes you'll hit it right at him.
Will Robertson out of Creighton. Setting for the first pitch from Roth. It's outside for ball 1. Robertson grounded out back in the first inning, a 4-3 put out in his only action against Roth. If you're just joining us, first of all, thank you. Second of all, we're in the bottom of the 3rd. Hyannis up 2-0, but Cotuit threatening for the first time today. Here's the pitch to Robertson. It's pop foul on the left side over the third base grandstand, and it bounces just over it, over near the Kettleer kitchen to our left. 1-1 count for Robertson with Humphreys at first. This battle of Western Division rivals. The Harbor Hawks of Hyannis, formerly the Hyannis Mets up until 2010. And, of course, the Cotuit Kettleers. Here's Robertson, the big first baseman out of Creighton. Roth going to check on the runner Humphreys, who's back in the nick of time. We'll do it all over again. Robertson, generally an outfielder. We saw him in right field in the exhibition scrimmage against the Lexington Blue Sox, which will be a week ago tomorrow. Here's the 1-1 out of the stretch, swung on in near the hands and fouled off pretty much to the same spot off to our left. It ricochets off the Kettleer kitchen and into the parking lot where some young fans run after the ball. Back on the field, a 1-2 count with 2 outs. Patchy skies, some blue, some cloud. Here in Cotuit, 1 ball, 2 strikes out of the stretch. Here's the pitch, swung on, and it's a high arcing fly ball into right field. Going over is Durr in foul territory. He makes the catch and then falls through the fence in right field. The umpire on the near side, Vincent Alexander Molina, signaling out as Nick Durr was just charging towards that right field fence, made the catch, and then just blew it open. He gets some much-deserved applause from the Kettleer and Harbor Hawk faithful. A loud out number 3 to quiet a potential Cotuit threat, and it's still 2-0 Harbor Hawks heading into the top half of the 4th. It's Cotuit Kettleer baseball right here on the Cape Cod. Welcome back to Cotuit. It's 2-0 Hyannis. Top of the fourth. 6, 7, 8 spots due up to face Griffin McLarty. And Sam, the last play we just saw, a fly out in foul territory from Will Robertson. Nick Durr, the right fielder out of Florida State, was charging towards it in foul territory where the outfield fence meets the foul fence. And I think there's a door back there, but man, Durr was charging towards it, hit the door and just blew it open, fell down as he made the catch. That looked pretty painful to me.
That was crazy. He whipped into that door. Thank goodness it opened, because I think it would have been a lot harder of a hit if it was a standing still fence.
First pitch to Trevor Hauver goes off his right shin. Talk about pain. Hauver with the grimace steps out of the batter's box, but he's a tough baseball guy. He's got a black shin guard. He's going to step back in. An 0-1 count. All right, 1 to 10 pain scale. What do you think Nick Durr felt right after that?
I'd probably say 8.
8?
A strong 8 on that one.
Yeah.
Very strong 8.
And it didn't look like he knew that the fence or the door, whatever it was, it didn't look like he knew it was coming.
No, there was no way, I don't think.
As McLarty fires a pitch, it's swung on and cracked into deep right field. Going back, Burdick, it's over his head and gone into the woods just beyond Lowell Park. Another leadoff home run for the second consecutive inning, this time from Trevor Hauver. And Hyannis takes a 3-0 lead here in the fourth.
Hauver strikes basically where Todd Lott struck in the last inning. Again, a leadoff home run for Hyannis. Now the Kettleers trailing by 3. It's going to be time in the next half inning for the Kets to get some run support going, but right now Griffin McLarty's got to take a deep breath, settle down on the mound, and just keep firing back. Still a 3-run game. Could be a lot worse.
Here's Nick Durr, who we were just talking about, and he takes strike 1. Durr, who just made the inning-ending play, crashing into that right field fence. So 2 innings in a row. Hyannis leads it off with a solo home run over Peyton Burdick's head. Now this time a ground ball, 2 hops into Adam Oviedo's glove. He fires across the diamond to get the out. That was a broken bat ground ball for the second time today. A broken bat. 1 out for Hyannis. So through 2 games, we hadn't seen a broken bat. Now 2 already today.
More like a chipped bat, just like a little sapling of wood came off of that bat that time.
Is that the term?
I guess. Maybe with a tree? Maybe? I think that's it.
A sapling of wood, yeah. Sounds good. We'll go with it. Here's Todd Lott. He led off the last inning with a solo home run over Burdick's head in right field. And he digs in to face McLarty for the second time. Looks at strike 1. He's got an 0-1 count with 1 out. Todd Lott out of Louisiana Lafayette. Left fielder today for Hyannis. And he takes ball 1 inside. It's 3-0 Hyannis. Top of the 4th inning. Lott against McLarty right now. Normal defense right now for the Kettleers. And McLarty sets for the 1-1. Lott checks on it, but it's a ball outside, 2-1 count. Lott, native of Jacksonville, Florida, was a 20th round selection of the Cincinnati Reds in the 2016 draft. And here's the 2-1. It's inside, and the home plate umpire, Rick Emerson, is going to say that hit the wrist of Lott. So Lott's going to take first base. I guess that just skimmed off the wrist because Lott didn't seem to react at all. Maybe it hit some of the padding there or part of his jersey hanging out. Either way, it's a hit batsman, and Todd Lott is on base. So now a runner on for Hyannis as they lead it 3-0 in the top of the 4th. And here's the 9-hole hitter, Kyle Wilkie, who singled and came around to score his last time up. First, McLarty going to check on the runner. Pickoff attempt is unsuccessful. Wilkie out of Clemson. Still waiting for his first pitch from McLarty. He had a 29-game hitting streak this season for the Tigers. Lott takes his lead at first. Here's the pitch from McLarty. It swung on and fouled off over to the first base side. 0-1 count.
Activity in the Kettleers bullpen right now, Sam. Someone we have not seen yet this season. Jacob Dexter, the side armor, getting loose, a right-hander.
And Dexter was excellent in the Kettleers scrimmage against the Blue Sox a week ago. Struck out the side in his only appearance from the mound. There's a ball outside from McLarty. 1-1 count with 1 out. McLarty started out really solid. The first 2 innings gave up just 1 hit, no runs. but 2 leadoff home runs in the 3rd and the 4th, respectively. And it's 3-0 Hyannis in the 4th. At the plate right now, Kyle Wilkie, another pickoff attempt for McLarty. But Lott is back in time. You might recognize that last name Lott. He's over at first base. He is the cousin of Ronnie Lott, Hall of Fame football player with the San Francisco 49ers, a 4-time Super Bowl champion. As Wilkie fouls that one back into the backstop, 1 ball, 2 strikes. His other cousin, Anthony Lott, was previously with the Cincinnati Bengals. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Lott takes his lead at first. McLarty set on the mound. He kicks and deals. It's high and tight. Ball 2. Kettleers yesterday against the Gatemen, if you missed that one. It was a 4-2 loss for Cotuit. The Kettleers struck first in the 6th with a run. And then the Gatemen scored 4 unanswered to take a 4-1 lead as McLarty fires this one in. It's fouled straight back. We'll do it again with 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Gatemen responded with 4 unanswered runs in the 6th and the 8th to take a 4-1 lead. And then a Cotuit rally fell short. At the end, they plated 1 run in the 9th, thanks to a Will Robertson RBI single. But the Kettleers fell short for their first loss of the 2018 campaign. McLarty again checks on the runner, but again, Lott is back in time. Back at the plate, Wilkie digs back into the right-handed batter's box. Righty-on-righty matchup here. 2-2 count. Wilkie set, McLarty as well. Here's the pitch. It's in there for strike 3. And now Humphrey's going to fire back to Robertson to check on the runner, but he's back. And for McLarty, there's another strikeout, his 4th of the game. And now he gets an all-important second out.
That was a big strikeout for McLarty. Right down the pipe with that pitch. Wilkie stood in and just took it. And that's a huge out, number 2. Now you don't have to worry about the runner that much. Just go get the batter. Infield can play straight up once again.
Here's Matthew Barefoot. He's 1 for 2 today with the double in his last plate appearance in the 3rd inning. First pitch from McLarty to Barefoot. And it's in there for strike 1.
That's just a good name. Matthew Barefoot.
Matthew Barefoot. I like that. He's got shoes on, though. He's got to live out his name a little bit. Gets in his open stance, facing an 0-1 count against McLarty. He's going to check on the runner for the 5th time. Robertson thought he got him, but the first base umpire, Vincent Alexander Molina, says no, sir. And it's still an 0-1 count with 2 outs. 3-0 Harbor Hawks, top of the 4th. So Matthew Barefoot, here's a good nugget for you, partner. 23 times this season for Campbell University he was hit by a pitch as he takes a big cut and a miss for strike 2. 23 times he was hit by a pitch. That's 6th in the country. It's a lot of bruises.
Yeah, likes to wear it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a lot to stand in there. But, hey, I'm sure the team really applauded him for that. At Campbell, taking one for the team 28 times. How about
23,
that?
23.
23.
Still a lot.
I beg your pardon.
Here's the 0-2. It's just a pitch out way outside. Humphrey's going to check on the runner. He'll take the ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, 23 times. That's 23 bruises. Let's take a look at Barefoot's batting stance, see if he leans in a little bit. He's got an open stance with the left foot positioned just behind the right foot. As McLarty checks on the runner once again, and this time the ball skips past Robertson. He runs after it, but Lott is going to take second base easily standing up. And now a runner in scoring position for Hyannis. An unforced error. McLarty was going for his 6th consecutive pickoff attempt of Lott, but the throw is a little low. Robertson couldn't get a hang of it, and that's the first error of the ball game for Cotuit. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs for Barefoot. The pitch from McLarty, high and outside, ball 2. 2-2-2 on the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Lott takes his lead at second. McLarty looks back at him, now focuses attention to the plate, and pitches high and outside to load up the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. On deck for Hyannis, the Baylor kid, Davis Wenzel. Third baseman who has a double and a ground out today. But first, the task at hand is Mr. Barefoot. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. McLarty is set, kicks and fires, swing and a miss. Strike 3. Griffin McLarty with his 5th K of the afternoon, and he gets out of the inning with the Harbor Hawks leading 3-0 heading into the home half of the 4th. It's Cotuit Kettleer baseball right here on the Cape. Welcome back to Cotuit, where it's 3-0 Harbor Hawks in the bottom of the 4th. And fans, you can visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience. A proud member of leading hotels of the world. 2, 3, 4 spots due up in this inning for your Kettleers. It's going to be Peyton Burdick, Zach Bierman, Thomas Dillard. First, here's Burdick to face off against Houston Roth. And it's a high-arcing curveball that drops into the zone for strike 1. Burdick 0 for 1 today with a loud flyout to right field in his first at-bat. He digs in for the second pitch. Here it comes. Hits the outside corner. Another curveball. Strike 2. Burdick was 1 for 4 yesterday with a single against Wareham. Tuesday against Brewster, 4 for 4, 3 home runs, 7 runs batted in. A historic opening day for Burdick. Here's the 0-2. It's in the dirt. Little check swing from Burdick. He didn't go, according to our first base umpire, Vincent Alexander Molina. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Peyton Burdick, the right fielder out of Wright State University, one of 2 Wright State Raiders on the Kettleer squad this year. Both Burdick and Zane Collins hailing from there. Collins was our starting pitcher yesterday against Wareham. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on. It's a ground ball through up the middle, just past the outstretched glove of Alec Trella. And Burdick is on first base with his first hit of the evening.
That'll do. Good swing from Bird. Hard hit right back up the middle. That's the way to start out the inning, get the leadoff man on.
Nice piece of hitting by Burdick, who now has a hit in each of the Kettleers' 3 games today. And now here's still a relatively new Kettleer, Zach Bierman out of Coastal Carolina. He was pretty good against Wareham. 2 for 4, 2 singles, including a clutch single in the top of the 9th in that would-be rally for Cotuit. And the big slugger who had 13 home runs this past season for the Chanticleers digs in. A lefty on righty matchup here. Roth sets out of the stretch. Here's the pitch. It's in the dirt, and it gets past just between the legs. Kyle Wilkie, the catcher. Burdick's going to take second base easily. And for the first time today, the Kettleers have a runner in scoring position.
5-hole right there. Got to be a hockey goaltender and scoop that one up, and that gets behind Wilkie, and we'll take that free base right there. Bird on his horse. Got the runner in scoring position with a nice free pass with the pass ball, I would say, on my score count.
Yeah, certainly a pass ball.
Yeah.
In the dirt, but pretty much down the middle, right through the legs of Wilkie. 1-0 count for Bierman. Pitch out of the stretch, swing and a miss. Strike 1. And here comes Wilkie for a quick chat with Roth. It's 3-0. Harbor Hawks leading in the bottom of the 4th. I'm in soccer spirit because of the World Cup over in Russia, so you might hear some nils this month.
I'm kind of mad still I didn't get a chance to see any of that Spain-Portugal 3-3 thriller.
A hat trick for Cristiano Ronaldo. Here's the 1-1. There goes Burdick trying to steal third, and he gets there without even a throw. from Wilkie. Burdick is fired up as he dusts up his red jersey and is now just 90 feet from home plate. By the way, it was a ball to Bierman, so he's got a 2-1 count, with Burdick now threatening to score.
I love the aggressiveness on the base paths there from Mike Roberts. Stealing third base, Burdick took off, always was going to win that race, and he gets to third.
2 balls, 1 strike to Bierman. Here's the pitch. It's outside, ball 3. The Harbor Hawks infield at normal depth, except for the third baseman Wenzel playing a bit on the infield grass, trying to hold the runner Burdick. Outfield as well at normal depth. The center fielder Barefoot a little off to the right. Here's the 3-1 to Bierman, swung on and poked out into left center field. It's going to drop for a base hit. Burdick comes in to score easily. Bierman takes second base standing up, and it's an RBI double for the Chanticleer. Zach Bierman puts Cotuit on the board. A great diving effort made in left field by Todd Lott, but it just bounced off the tip of his glove to allow Cotuit to plate its first run.
Boom, Bierman, I love it. Good start for him in his second game as a Kettleer. His first run batted in as a Kettleer. That was a tough play for Lott coming onto it and left. The ball gets down. Bierman into second base. Big double. And I was about to say, all you needed in that at-bat was a ground ball to the right side or a deep fly ball. He delivered just that. And Burdick able to come home safely. The bonus was that ball did not end up in the mid of Lott, so still nobody out in this inning.
Would have been a web gem for sure out in left field. We already saw one on the right side of the outfield from the Harbor Hawks. Here's Dillard now to face his college teammate Roth, and he takes a look at strike one, a fastball pinned just on the outer corner of the plate. Dillard 0 for 1 today. He grounded out in his last at-bat. 2 Ole Miss Rebels going at it right now. Houston Roth, the pitcher, and Thomas Dillard, the left fielder for Cotuit. No balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Another fastball, 92 this time, right down the heart of the plate. And it's an 0-2 count for Dillard. Bottom of the 4th in Cotuit. Harbor Hawks 3, Kettleers 1. Bierman takes his lead at second. Here's the pitch to Dillard. Lazy swing and a miss for strike 3. He's upset with himself. That was some gas that just got by Dillard. He's now 0 for 2 against the fellow Rebel, Houston Roth. Here comes Eric Jones looking to plate another Kettleer run.
I'm sure Houston Roth is now going to remember that one when he just blew the fastball by him to strike out Dillard, his Ole Miss teammate.
Eric Jones 0 for 1 today with a ground out. 1 out, man on second. Kettleers down by 2. First pitch ball in the dirt. I mean, the bragging rights have to be immense, especially when the guy at the plate is your team's best player in Thomas Dillard. And Roth now has him 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out.
You don't get to see your own pitchers terribly much in practice.
No. 1-0 for Jones, the Davidson product. Takes a half swing and a miss for strike 1.
I mean, I'm sure they do some inter-squad matchups early in the season, but it's probably been a long time since
that's
Houston Roth has matched up against Dillard. Yeah,
scrimmage type of deal. We saw some Kettleer on Kettleer crime, as you called it, during that scrimmage. The Blue Sox were a little shorthanded. Some Kettleer pitchers had to pitch against their own kind. Sure, some bragging rights there as Jones takes a big cut and a miss for strike 2. So now it's 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out for the Kettleers. Runner on second is Zachary Bierman, who just drove in Peyton Burdick to break the goose egg on the Cotuit side of the scoreboard. It's now 3-1 Harbor Hawks here in the bottom of the 4th. A deep breath from the starting pitcher, Roth. He kicks and fires. Swung on and bounced foul over to the Cotuit dugout. We'll do it again with a 1-2 count.
Eric Jones has been a pretty clutch hitter so far this season for the Kettleers, even though we've only played 2 games. Had the first RBI of the campaign on opening day, and then when they really needed it last night in the 6th, he delivered. Unfortunately, was thrown out trying to work a single into a double on the base paths. But this would be a big run to bring in here with Bierman at second.
We're set. Here's the pitch from Roth. Swung on, foul tip straight back. Again, he keeps this count alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jones Davidson University, Charlotte, North Carolina product. Similar path from one Steph Curry, who grew up in Charlotte, where his dad, Del Curry, played for the Hornets, then went to Davidson. Pretty much the same person, Steph Curry, Eric Jones. Jones had a mighty fine season for Davidson, leading them in pretty much every offensive category as he takes ball too low. He had a .333 batting average, 11 homers, 60 runs batted in, and 67 hits on the season. And big number 17 digs back into the right-handed batter's box. A deep breath facing a 2-2 count. Zachary Bierman, the Coastal Carolina product, steps off the bag, taking a hearty lead. Hyannis not holding him on the base. Here's the 2-2. It's outside. Load that count up. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Jones adjusting his white batting gloves. What brand is that, Sam? Nike?
Let's see.
I see maybe a
Under
swoosh
Armour.
on
That's
there.
an Under Armour. Yep.
Man, you're good at this.
I guess I got good eyesight.
They should create a game show for batting glove brand detection.
Or just brand detection in general.
Full count for Jones. Here's the pitch. Swung on. It's a ground ball to the shortstop Trella. He picks it up, throws on a one-hopper to first base to get the out. Good news for Cotuit as Bierman advances 90 feet closer to home plate. He gets to third. So an out, but a pretty productive out for Jones. And now Corey Joyce has a chance to plate a run. Corey Joyce out of UNC Central. Got the day off yesterday against Wareham. Played in the opening game, starting at second base. Against Brewster, he was 0 for 3. This is a speedy fella. 27 for 31 this past season in the stolen bases department. That's something Mike Roberts has got to love. Always aggressive on the base paths is the 15-year Kettleer manager. First pitch to Joyce, swung on, shot foul down the third base line. We were talking to Coach before the season opener against Brewster, asked him about his roots in why he loves to steal bases so much, why he preaches effective base running. He said he was a catcher growing up, but he was the fastest guy in his town. Just kind of a junkie on the base paths. Always thought it was such a cool aspect of the game. After he was drafted by the Kansas City Royals, went to some academies around the country learning the art of the steal. And here's a pitch to Jones. It's a ground ball right into the hands of the shortstop Trella. He gets it to first just in time to beat out Corey Joyce for out number 3. So Cotuit plates a run on Zachary Bierman's RBI double, but it's still 3-1 Harbor Hawks heading into the 5th inning, where my partner Sam Niederman will take over play-by-play duties right here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. We'll be right back.
Back at it here at Lowell Park to begin the 5th inning of play. Hyannis Harbor Hawks 3, Cotuit Kettleers 1. As we're happy to have you with us, Sam Niederman and Sam Brief. Jacob Dexter, the new pitcher on the mound for Cotuit. He will be relieving Griffin McLarty, whose day as a starter is done. McLarty's final line, 4 innings, giving up 5 hits, 3 earned runs, walked a batter, and struck out 5. Not a terrible day for McLarty. He gave up 2 solo home runs. That was the bulk of the damage for Hyannis. Now we get to see the side armor Dexter, one of your favorites, Sam, making his 2018 debut.
He's a personal favorite of mine, certainly. Senior Mainer, out of the University of Southern Maine, where he's a closer and an excellent two-way plater. player hits .382 from the plate with a 2.44 ERA, 13 saves on the mound. This is a really excellent side armor. He'll gas right by you. We saw it in scrimmage play. We saw it this year at Southern Maine. I'm excited to see what Mr. Dexter can do on the mound.
Jacob Dexter out of the bullpen. The right-hander will be facing 2, 3, and 4 in the Hyannis lineup. Davis Wenzel leading things off as the side armor slings a first pitch fastball in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Wenzel 1 for 2 today with a double back in the first inning. Dexter comes out of the stretch, in there again with a fastball ahead in the count, 0-2. Likes to work fast. After this next pitch, we'll get our trivia question of the game in. Going to be a fun one here, and I'm going to see if I can stump you. Here's the 0-2. That one tails way outside, 1-2. So with the trivia question, on opening day, Peyton Burdick became just the 8th player and the 9th time in Cape League history that a player has hit 3 home runs in a single game. 1-2, just off the plate, it's now 2-2. 9 times 3 home runs in a game for one player. Which Cape League team has given up the most 3 home run single games? High fly ball from Wenzel into left center field. Dillard under it, but then coming over to call him off, Andrew Smith making a high point catch for out number 1. So Wenzel goes down, and it'll be Pedro Pages with 1 out and nobody aboard.
That's a mighty good question, partner. So which team has yielded the most home runs?
Yes, which team has allowed the most of the 3 home run games?
We did this, we did the research.
Yep.
We know the guys.
Don't look, because you've got your answer somewhere.
I'm not looking. Oh, man. I might need until close to the end of this inning to get over this one. I'm going to mull over my options here.
Dexter facing Pages, low with an off-speed pitch, is 1-0.
I know Frank Thomas did it in 1988 for Orleans. I'd be lying if I told you who the opposing team was.
The 1-0, up and in, it's now 2-0. Yes, the question is not which team has had the most occasions with a player hitting 3 home runs in a single game, but rather which team has allowed that occurrence the most. Dexter behind in the count on Pages, 3-0 now, missing with a fastball outside.
And interestingly enough, the last 2 were Hyannis and Cotuit.
Here's a called strike to get him over. It's now 3-1. Chris Dominguez in 2008 for Hyannis, slugging out 3 home runs in 1 game. The 3-1 poked over to second base. Joyce funnels it up, and he'll throw it over to first to Robertson, and that's out number 2.
Will you give me 2 guesses?
I'll give you 2 guesses. Remember, you do have a 1 in 10 chance here.
I know.
There's only 10 possible answers.
If I get 2 guesses, though, that improves my odds. So that was some good bargaining.
There you go. Okay, I'll give you 2 guesses.
First guess coming in, Bourne Braves.
No.
I just kind of felt it. I don't know.
Okay. There's a fastball on the outer half of the plate for a called strike from Dexter, who's now facing Vinny Pasquantino with 2 outs and nobody aboard. Another 0-1. That dips down and in. It's now 1-1. No, it's not Bourne. But good guess. I see where you're coming from on that.
It's a good guess. Right? It was a good.
I know where you're coming from on that.
If I go down, I went down swinging there.
The 1-1 brushed off the plate. It's now 2-1. 3-1. Hyannis in front of Cotuit here in the top of the 5th inning. 2 outs and nobody aboard. The 2-1 from Dexter, whipped low in the part of the zone, and that's going to be a 3-1 now. So Bourne's your first guess. You're down to your last strike. Here's a 3-1 from Dexter. Called strike right on the chalk, and it's now a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Pasquantino.
This is a brutal world. 2 strikes, you're out. I'm going to go with the Harwich Mariners.
Good guess, but no. And yes, there on the strikeout from Jacob Dexter. Backwards K got Pasquantino looking a good fastball right down the pipe. And that's the final out of the inning. So we head to the home half of the 5th. Cotuit trailing by 2 runs, and we'll have your trivia answer on the other side of this break here on the Cape. Bottom of the fifth, Kettleers come to the plate trailing 3-1 against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, and a new pitcher on for Hyannis, Hayden Kettler, a right-hander out of Baylor University, relieving Houston Roth, who went a strong 4 innings to start this one, allowing 3 hits and 1 earned run. Did not walk a batter, struck out 2. That'll do it for Roth. Impressive on the mound, and the Kettleers with 7, 8, and 9 due up to face a new arm out of the pen in Hayden Kettler. Sam Naderman alongside Sam Brief, and we had a trivia answer that we promised you on the other side of this break. Here we are. The question was, 9 times in Cape League history has one player hit 3 home runs in a single game. Peyton Burdick, the last to do it, of course, for the Kettleers on opening day. Which team has allowed the most of those 3 home runs to one player in a single game? You guessed Bourne and Harwich on your 2 tries. You struck out on both of those. The answer, the Falmouth Commodores.
Really?
3 times Falmouth has allowed a 3 home run game to a single player in Cape League history. If we look back at our archives, we had the notes taken, and I knew you had your answer, but you weren't able to look. They allowed it 3 times, once to Joe Oliver of YD in 1982, once to Bob Larimer of Chatham in 1983, and most recently to the Hyannis Harbor Hawk Chris Dominguez in 2008.
Then the Hyannis
times.
met.
That's right.
Chris Dominguez.
There you go. So the first pitch is a swing and a miss. Andrew Smith facing the new pitcher in Hayden Kettler, who gets a fastball by him as we begin the bottom of this 5th inning. Cotuit down 3-1 here at Lowell Park. Kettler winding up. The big right-hander deals. Foul tip off the end of the bat, and it's an 0-2 count all of a sudden on Smith.
Now, if Mr. Kettler was a Kettleer, I think we would just have to do the formality and add the extra E to his name to make him Hayden Kettleer.
The 0-2, sweeping breaking ball off the plate, 1 ball on 2 strikes.
What impressed me most about this 3 home run list, the guys in Cape League who have hit 3 home runs, Jim Lauer, the first one to do it in 77, did it from both sides of the plate.
The 1-2 whipped off the plate with a fastball, and the count evens. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the leadoff man, Smith. Kettleers down by 2 runs in the home half of the 5th. Bottom of the order up here, 7, 8, and 9. Kettler out of the windup to the plate. Ripped through the left side. That's a base hit from Andrew Smith. He yanks it in the hole between third and short, and that's a leadoff single for the Kettleers in the bottom of 5.
Really good piece of hitting there from Andrew Smith. Just got a nice hold of it. Like we like to say, Sam, hit it where they ain't, and he did that really well. Forced Trella to go full extension at the shortstop position. Just snuck that ball past him, and leadoff runner is aboard.
First hit of the season for Andrew Smith, making his 2018 debut today in the starting lineup in center field. Now 1 for 2. And this will bring up Adam Oviedo, the 8-hole batter, 0 for 1 today with a long fly out to center field in his first time up. Out of the stretch is Kettler. Throws a fastball off the plate for ball 1. Andrew Smith, the runner on first base. Oviedo, the batter at the plate. Defense for Hyannis straight up. The middle infielders at the ready for a possible double play. Smith bouncing with his lead at first. The 1-0, hacked at by Oviedo. Just got a piece of it foul on the inner part of the bat, and it's now 1-1. A lot of those 3 home run games were so unique, as you were saying, Sam. Only 3 in the wood bat era. Frank Thomas the first to do it with Orleans, then Dominguez with Hyannis, and of course Peyton Burdick.
Frank Thomas?
That's right. I don't know.
Oh, you mean Chicago White Sox legend,
yes.
Frank Thomas?
There's a throwback to first as Smith has to dive head first, and he's in there safely.
What interests me most about the list is Corey Snyder of BYU, still the single-season home run king for the Cape League. Did it on July 8th, and then 3 days later on July 11th, he did it again.
Another pick back to first. Smith in there, no problem. That's crazy. I wonder what it was like when that happened.
And so his last at-bat of their previous game on July 7th was a home run, and then his first 3 at-bats on the 8th were home runs. Still the only Cape Leaguer ever to have a home run in 4 consecutive at-bats.
The 1-1 yanked over to shortstop. Trella has it for 1 over the second, and they'll throw it to first, but not in time for the double play. As swiping at it was Pasquantino, he wasn't able to hang on a hot one-hopper. So Oviedo grounds into a fielder's choice. Smith out at second base. 1 out in the inning. as the Kettleers will turn it over to the 9-hole hitter and Zach Humphreys.
Humphreys was 0 for 4 against the Gateman, but looked real good in that first at-bat. Fought a long count against the starter Roth, and then ended up with a nice single. Let's see if he can do a little damage here with 1 out.
Hayden Kettler, the new right-hander out of the bullpen, back in the stretch. Oviedo, the new runner on first base, and he's introduced to Kettler on the base pass with a pick over to first. Oviedo back in safely on the ground. Top of the order on deck as Zach Humphreys at the plate right now. Kettler to the plate. Fastball called for a strike on the inner half, and it's 0-1. Humphreys today, 1 for 1. He had a single in the first hit of the ball game for the Kettleers back in the 3rd inning. Oviedo taking a modest lead at first base. 0-1 the count to Humphreys at the plate. Whipped in by Kettler, and another called strike up at the belt, and it's 0-2. Hyannis 3, Cotuit 1. Harbor Hawks jumped out to a 3-0 lead thanks to solo home runs from Trevor Haver and Todd Lott. Throwing an RBI single, or sac fly rather. That made it a 3-0 game. Kettleers got one back in the 4th inning thanks to a Zach Bierman RBI double that plated Peyton Burbick. Adam Oviedo, the runner at first base. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Humphreys facing an 0-2 count at the plate. Kettler, quick move over to first, and Oviedo back in safely. Harbor Hawks paying a lot of mind to the base runners now after Peyton Burdick stole 3rd with ease back in the 4th inning. Dark clouds overhead here at Lowell Park. Not that much blue left in the sky. Here's the 0-2. Big fan and a miss from Humphreys on a breaking pitch. Fooled with the off speed, and that's out number 2.
Yeah, that was a good pitch from Kettler. He rebounded well after giving up some good contact in the first 2 at-bats. Humphreys looked like a deer in the headlights on that last one, but still fighting a good at-bat. I mean, Zach Humphreys, he's a guy who, even against Wareham, where he didn't get a hit, had a lot of long at-bats, fighting pretty hard. He's a really disciplined hitter.
New batter is Will Robertson, the leadoff man who takes a pitch way in the other batter's box. It's 1-0. Oviedo remains on first base. Bottom of the 5th inning, and the Kettleers with a 2-run deficit against Hyannis. Hayden Kettler out of the bullpen, comes set. The right-hander deals to the plate, grounded right back up the box and into center field for a base hit. Oviedo churning around second base. He'll go first to third, and it's a 2-out single from Will Robertson. Aggressive base running from the Kettleers gets Oviedo to third, and the inning stays alive.
I love it. The direction of Mike Roberts over at third base, waving Oviedo on to third. He got there easily. And Will Robertson's been swinging the bat really well. Had that nice single in the 9th inning yesterday against Wareham, and today with a nice single there through the middle. That went right through the 5-hole. We were talking about 5 holes earlier with the pass ball through the legs of Kyle Wilkie, the catcher. That time, ground ball right through Kettler's legs. And now runners on the corners for the Bird, Peyton Burdick.
2 outs here in this bottom of the 5th inning, and a huge opportunity for the Kettleers as Hyannis is going to call time and have a mound visit. Hayden Kettler out of the bullpen. His infield will come out to convene on the mound with him. Kyle Wilkie, the catcher, as well, and their pitching coach and Ron Polk will come out and have a chat with the Harbor Hawks defensive unit on the infield plus the battery. 3-1, Hyannis on top in the bottom of the 5th. Kettleers with their best chance of the day with the potential go-ahead run at the plate, and Peyton Burdick had the 3 home runs on opening day. Would be a great time for maybe a 4th here in the 2018 season. Runners on the corners, 2 outs in the inning. A base hit would at least bring this game back to a 1-run deficit. Maybe a gapper scores 2. Robertson with good speed on first base. So the mound visit wraps up. Everybody back to their posts. And now we'll have a matchup of the right-handed pitcher in Kettler and the right-handed batter in Burdick. Kettler comes set and to the plate. Swung on a high fly ball in the shallow right center field. Coming onto it to make the catch is Barefoot. And that will be a 1 pitch and the final out of the inning. So Burdick with a fly to center, and the Kettleers leave 2. It's 3-1. Hyannis still in front as we head to the 6th inning of play. Sam Brief with the play-by-play coming up next here on
Welcome back to Lowell Park for Cotuit Kettleer Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. It is 3-1 right now. Hyannis in the lead. Here in the top of the 6th inning, Jacob Dexter, the sidearm righty rising senior out of the University of Southern Maine, is back on for another inning of work after putting a 1-2-3 inning together against the Harbor Hawks, and due up for the Harbor Hawks, the 5, 6, 7 hole hitters, Trella, Hover, and Durr. Lowell Park abuzz with some dark clouds rolling in. Below 60 degrees, we're at 58 degrees with pretty much no wind. Third base grandstand to our left, pretty much totally full. The first base grandstand mostly full. And of course fans in their picnic chairs and beach chairs lining all the fences here at Lowell Park as Dexter fires in ball 1, just low and inside to Alec Trella, who's 0 for 2 today with a fly out and a pop out. Second pitch, just seconds later, is a little bit inside for ball 2. Dexter works quickly, gets the ball back, takes the signal, and he's already ready out of the stretch. Here's the sidearm pitch. It's inside for ball 3. Kettleer infield, left side, and Eric Jones, the third baseman, playing in a little bit, just on the infield grass. Fourth pitch, a breaking ball that goes right down the middle for strike 1. 5 hits for both sides, but Hyannis with a 2-run advantage as ball 4 comes across the plate low, and Trella with a 5-pitch walk. And for the third time in the last 4 innings, Hyannis has its leading hitter aboard.
Yeah, it's interesting, Sam. When you have a guy like Dexter who works so quickly, sometimes when you're just not finding the zone, maybe the antidote to your problem is just to take a breath and slow it down a little bit. And we'll see if he can do that here running out of the stretch with a base runner on.
First pitch, quick, and it's a fastball pinned on the outside corner, strike 1. Now let's see if Dexter can get in a little rhythm, not really checking on the runner too much. His attention is on the plate with Trevor Hover, who had a home run in his last at-bat. Righty on lefty matchup here. The pitch from Dexter is outside for ball 1. Last year, Hyannis was one of just 2 teams on the Cape, along with Harwich, to miss the playoffs. The Harbor Hawks were 16, 25, and 3. As Dexter checks on the runner. 3 ties, that's remarkable. They were last in the Western Division, so missed the playoffs. Had the second worst record, with only Harwich losing more games, but Hyannis' run differential of -78 was the worst on the Cape. Here's the 1-1, and it hits the outer corner for strike 2.
You talk about those 3 ties, Sam. Those were crucial because they finished 2 games back in the West because the 3 ties were back of Wareham. We went 18, 25, and 1. 2 less ties.
Dexter checks on the runner again, but Trella is back in time. It's Trevor Hover at the plate. Second baseman, Arizona State product, a Sun Devil.
Of course,
one of those ties
was against Cotuit last year.
4-1-1 was the season series in favor of Cotuit, and that one is smacked into left center field. It drops for a base hit. Rounding second, charging into third is Trella, and he's going to be waved all the way home. Here comes the relay throw, not in time. He crosses home plate without a slide. That's going to drive in a run, and Trevor Hover now at second base with the RBI double. The second time today he's driven in a run, and it's 4-1 Hyannis.
That ball's just stuck out there in left center field. It was a slow roller, and everybody in the outfield I mean, Thomas Dillard in left field and Andrew Smith in center were taking good pursuit angles to cut that ball off before it went to the wall, but instead it just hung out there in the more middle part of the outfield, which caused a late relay throw in, and that allowed the runner in Trello to score all the way from first.
Chad Gassman, the head coach and third base coach for Hyannis, was ferociously waving in the runner Trella. Once he saw that ball was kind of stuck, he was waving his arms like a windmill as Hyannis plated their fourth run. We're in the top of the sixth, no outs. Runner on second is Trevor Hauver. At the plate now, Nick Durr out of Florida State University. He digs in, first pitch from Dexter, big hack and a miss. An 0-1 count. Chad Gassman, the third base coach, also the head coach for Hyannis, also the head baseball coach and athletic director at Judson University in Illinois. An 0-1 count. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled straight back. There's action in the Kettleer bullpen. The right-hander out of St. Louis University, Ryan Leffner, is warming up. Jacob Dexter, the main product, is still on the mound. No action to our right in the Harbor Hawks bullpen. Third pitch of the at-bat is outside for ball one. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes for Nick Durr. Back to Chad Gassman. This is his 10th season in Hyannis. He started there in 08 as a pitching coach, as Durr sends a ground ball to the shortstop Oviedo, who collects and sends a high-arcing throw to first to get the out. That's now 1 out, as the runner Hauver stays at second. So Chad Gassman started in Hyannis in 08. He was the pitching coach and then was promoted to head coach in 09. Gassman won Cape Cod Coach of the Year in 2011, and he's since won 3 division titles. Hyannis was the league runner-up back in 2015, which was the only time in the last 6 years they won the Patriot Cup over the Kettleers by winning all 6 matchups. As Dexter sends in strike one to Todd Lott, who's 1 for 1 today. He has a home run in the third to get the scoring going and a hit by pitch in the fourth. Here's the 0-1. It's low, ball 1. That Patriot Cup, it's the Barnstable Patriot Cup. Cotuit has won 5 of 6. The cup awarded to the winner of the Cotuit Hyannis matchup. And there's a swing and a miss from Lott for strike 2, because both towns are within the Barnstable County jurisdiction. Since 04, the winner of the season series of 6 games is awarded the cup, which right now resides here at Lowell Park. Ball 2 outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. 9-5 is the score, if you're keeping track, since 04. Cotuit in the lead. In this game, however, it's 4-1 Hyannis. Here's the 2-2, swung on and cracked right to the third baseman, Jones, who stabs it for an L5. He fires back to second base, but doesn't get the out. The runner, Hauver, was quick on his feet and got back just in the nick of time, but that's the second straight night we've seen Eric Jones make a very heads-up play at third, just kind of stab the ball out of midair and get an all-important out number 2.
Yeah, Jones likes that L5. That time a little more direct at him. Last night in Wareham, he had to dive to the left field line and make that play. Both fine plays, and Jones has really impressed me with his defense at the hot corner.
Kyle Wilkie fouls the first pitch back. He's 1 for 2 today with a single and a strikeout. Eric Jones flashing the leather at third base. He's more of a utility guy at Davidson. Plays some first base, plays some catcher, plays some third base. He looks good on the hot corner. Here's a ground ball from Wilkie. 3 hops into the glove of Oviedo, who throws to first to get the out. It's 4-1 Hyannis heading into the bottom half of the 6th as Jacob Dexter escapes that inning. We'll be right back with more Cotuit Kettleer baseball on the And welcome back to Lowell Park. It's 4-1 Hyannis, bottom of the 6th. Cotuit's got to get the bats going. They've got the meat of the order coming up, featuring Zach Bierman, Thomas Dillard, Eric Jones to face off against the Baylor Bear, Hayden Kettler, one of 2 Baylor Bears, up and down the Hyannis roster. I was told before the game that he made the trek from Waco, Texas, up here to Cape Cod with his teammate, Davis Wenzel, the starting third baseman for today with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. That's a long trek from Waco to Cape Cod, 28 hours.
I
hope they stopped on the way because I don't think it's humanly possible. I know we both had some treks out here. I came from Chicago to Cape Cod. You came from near Indianapolis to Cape Cod. But Waco, 28 hours.
Yeah, that is a haul right there.
Man.
Wonder what the midway stopping point would be.
Maybe, I don't know. We'll have to check the highway system. First pitch from Kettler to Bierman is outside for ball 1. Zach Bierman has turned some heads in his first 2 games with the Kettleers, was 2 for 4 yesterday with 2 singles and has an RBI double today. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Pardon me, that wasn't an RBI double. It was just a double. Actually, it was an RBI double. I'm getting all mixed up here. He drove in Peyton Burdick back in the 4th inning. Still standing, it's Cotuit's only run as they trail 4-1 here in the 6th. Swing and a miss there from Bierman for strike 2. Looking at this map from Waco to Cape Cod, looks like we go through Nashville, maybe through Virginia, near D.C., up near New York City. A few stopping points along the way. And there's a swing and a miss from Bierman for strike 3. That's his first strikeout of the day. And now 1 out, but here comes Thomas Dillard.
I'd say you probably stop in the DMV area.
DMV area.
The DMV area. I believe that's the proper reference. We were talking with Steven Schock earlier today, and I said, "You're a DMV guy, right? That's what that stands for, a DMV?" He's like, "Yeah, it's a DMV." There you go.
First pitch outside to Dillard, who's 0 for 2 today. A ground out and a strikeout. Yeah, Steven Schock from Laurel, Maryland. Over at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and that one is pounded out into deep right center field from Dillard. It's off the wall for a base hit. Dillard coming into second. He stands on the bag easily with a stand-up double. Boy, that one was whacked off the bat of Dillard. And now the Kettleers in business here in the 6th.
Boom, that's what we were looking for. Got a hold of that one. Nearly a home run right off the face of the wall in deep right center field. Thomas Dillard, his 2nd double of the season. His first hit of this ball game, and good to see Dillard on base for the Kettleers once again. Hotty-toddy with that one. If only we would have gotten that one off of Houston Roth, the Ole Miss starter, but that time he tags Kettler, the relief pitcher, and now he has the Kettleers with a runner in scoring position, down by 3. This is where you got to get that runner in here in the 6th inning.
Really looked like it was going to carry and get out of the ballpark, but just hit the top of the fence out in center field. Matthew Barefoot, who was wearing shoes in center. Quick pause. Looks like maybe an athletic trainer on the field.
Yeah, I think they're going to check out
Hyannis.
Nick Durr, the right fielder. He's
Seems
come
to be
up
limping,
gimpy.
yeah.
He's kind of limping over to the right field line with his glove off. Looks like maybe his right leg might have pulled up on him there, maybe a hammy or something like that. And one of the Hyannis trainers is going to address him over in foul territory.
We saw him crash into where the right field fence and the fence in foul territory in right field, right where they meet, is where he crashed on a Will Robertson flyout back in the 3rd inning. He broke open the fence, getting through a door. I have to wonder if that's related to that. I'd bet it is, but maybe just an accumulation of stuff as he limps back into the dugout. Gets a nice round of applause from the Harbor Hawk faithful on the first base side. And
now
he's going to come out of this game. Looks like Adam Elliott is going to come into the game and replace Nick Durr in left field. So in right field rather. So Adam Elliott will come into the game in right field, and we assume he'll also be batting for Durr in that 7 spot. Adam Elliott, the 6'1", 190-pound lefty out of Louisville, Kentucky, and also at the University of Louisville. So Louisville born and bred. And the Louisville Slugger now out in right field replacing Durr. Here's Eric Jones now. 0 for 2 today with 2 groundouts, and he's got a runner in scoring position in Thomas Dillard, who takes his lead. 1 out, bottom of the 6th. It's 4-1 Harbor Hawks. First pitch sent way outside in the dirt. Catcher Wilkie has to move out to keep it in front of him. Ball 1. Talk about players repping their college teams here on the Cape, and Wilkie at Clemson University, he's got the orange and purple catcher's gear, and I love it. The purple padding across the chest, the purple shin guards with orange accents all across. He's a Harbor Hawk and a Clemson Tiger. And here comes the 1-0, but first he's going to check on the runner, and Dillard just barely back as he slides under the tag. Hayden Kettler fired to second. Over to Trevor Hauver, and Thomas Dillard was taking a healthy lead, but he gets back, now brushing off his right pant leg, which is no longer the pristine white it was at the beginning of the day. Military Appreciation Friday, so the Kettleers are wearing their blood red tops, white pinstripe pants with the maroon socks underneath. Here's the 1-0. Kettler deals. It's a breaking ball, just pinned on the outer corner. That was a bang-bang call. Eric Jones didn't like it. Having a quick word with Rick Emerson behind the plate, who just responds by saying it's a 1-1 count. 1-1 count, of course, 1 out. Bottom of the 6th in a 4-1 ball game. Both teams have 6 hits, but the 2 home runs from the Harbor Hawks have them up by 3. Dillard doing a little dance at second. He retreats back to the base, disrupting the flow of Hayden Kettler, who steps off the bag. And now ready for the 1-1. I'm sure Dillard, a returning Kettleer, has learned a thing or two from his head coach Mike Roberts about disrupting pitchers on the base paths. And now we're ready for the 1-1. Here's the pitch from Kettler. It loops outside for ball 2. Jones steps out for a practice swing. Adjusting those crisp white batting gloves, takes a deep breath, and now steps back into the right-handed batter's box with a quick tap of home plate from his dark brown bat. 2-1 count. Kettler looks back at second, looks back again, and now steps off. Boy, seems like Dillard really has him out of his flow.
They nearly got him a couple of picks ago. Second baseman in Hauver has been shading over that way to cover the bag.
Finally, here's the 2-1. Again pinned on the outer corner, 2-2. Now the throw back to second. Not in time. Dillard is back. The relay throw from Wilkie at the catcher position over to Trella, the shortstop. But Dillard was back. Boy, he's doing a dangerous dance. That's the second time it's been a bang-bang play at second base.
Yeah, he's living on the edge out there at second. Both of those plays where he had to dive back in under attack, extremely close, too close for comfort.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. For the Davidson product, Eric Jones. Dillard on second. Hayden Kettler on the mound. He kicks and fires, swing and a miss. It was a pitch way outside. That's strike 3. Eric Jones' first strikeout of the day, 5th strikeout for the Kettleers as a team. Now here comes Corey Joyce with 2 outs. Joyce 0 for 2 today with 2 groundouts. But the speedy UNC Central product has a chance to change the course of this game, which has the Harbor Hawks up 4-1. Again, both teams with 6 hits, but it's been small ball for the Kettleers and big ball for the Harbor Hawks, who have 2 home runs from Todd Lott and Trevor Hauver to lead it 4-1 in the 6th. First pitch to Joyce, pinned on the outer corner, strike 1. Third game of the season for both teams, both 1-1. Last night a 5-3 win for Hyannis over Harwich, and a 4-2 loss for the Kettleers against the Wareham Gatemen across the Cape Cod Canal to our west. Here's the 0-1. It's inside, ball 1. Some scores for you around the Cape. Top of the 4th inning in Falmouth, it's 3-0 Commodores over those Wareham Gatemen. 3-0 Bourne leading it over Orleans in the top of the 4th, that game being played in Bourne. at Duran Park. Now here's the 1-1 to Joyce. Hits that outside corner again, 1-2 count. Kettler really working the outside corner. Elsewhere, it's 0-0 top two between YD and Harwich. And Brewster and Chatham has yet to start. That'll be the nightcapper in today's Cape Cod League action. 1-2 count, 2 outs for Joyce. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Thomas Dillard gets a double, but 2 consecutive swinging strikeouts caused by Hayden Kettler, and it's still 4-1 Hyannis heading into the 7th inning. This is Cotuit Kettleer Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball.
Live in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to Cotuit. Sam Brief alongside my broadcast partner Sam Niederman here at beautiful Loa Park. It's 4-1 Harbor Hawks entering the 7th inning, and the Kettleers really need to scrap together a run. Harbor Hawks certainly have had the advantage today.
Yeah, Hyannis using the long ball today, Sam. The 2 solo shots from Lott and Hover have really proved to be the difference so far. Kettleers in the last 4 frames at the plate have left runners on base. That's not going to win you much ball games. But the quote last night from Mike Roberts in the loss at Wareham was you go and you kind of try and stay competitive and in it for the first 6 innings of play. It's in innings 7, 8, and 9 where you win or lose ball games. So this is it right here for Cotuit. These last 3 frames, still down by 3 runs, not an insurmountable deficit. This is the part where they get to try and show a little bit of grit at home and maybe make up where they didn't finish as strong last night at Wareham.
Ryan Leffner is the new pitcher for Cotuit. He sends in a first pitch ball high and outside to the leadoff hitter for the Harbor Hawks, Matthew Barefoot. Barefoot is 1 for 3 today with a double back in the 3rd. And Leffner sends in the second pitch. It's high and inside. I think it nicked the elbow of Barefoot. Indeed it did. And he'll take first base. So a hit batsman from Ryan Leffner. And now the Harbor Hawks in business in the 7th inning. Leffner, 6'1", 190-pound righty rising senior out of San Juan Capistrano, California. A journalism major over at St. Louis. And the righty steps in to try and quiet these Harbor Hawks bats, which have combined for 6 hits, 4 runs in this one. Out of the stretch, here's the pitch from Leffner, high and outside, ball 1 to Davis Wenzel, the Baylor product. Jacob Dexter went 2 innings, faced 8 batters, gave up 1 run with 1 strikeout. Leffner going to check on the runner there. It's a 1-0 count to Davis Wenzel. Dark clouds still rolling in above Loa Park, starting to get much darker. And now here's the 1-0 from Leffner. He fires it in and pins it on the outside corner for strike 1. Remember, no lights here at Loa Park. The only park in Cape Cod without lights. That's why we have the earlier 5 p.m. starts. Like to play under the natural light, but that light's starting to fade ever so slightly. Here's the 1-1, check swing from Wenzel. Doesn't really matter, it was right down the middle for strike 2. Hustling and bustling, a lot of action at Loa Park. Fans walking all around. Definitely a family feel as we always have in Cotuit. And on the diamond, it's a 1-2 count to Wenzel. Lefner sets out of the stretch. Looks back at the runner real quick, and now here's the pitch. Low and outside for ball 2. Kettleers in those bright red uniforms for Military Appreciation Friday, which will be happening every Friday across every park in the Cape throughout the summer. Harbor Hawks in the traveling blues with the orange letters. The 2-2 pitch high and outside. 88-mile-an-hour fastball, load up the count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. The Hyannis road uniforms, very reminiscent of the New York Mets uniforms, which makes sense because they were the Hyannis Mets up until 2010. Full count, Lefner going to check on the runner to no avail. They were the Hyannis Mets because the creators of the Hyannis Mets were hoping that the partnership, or the supposed partnership, would lead to financial support from the New York Mets. It didn't, and thus they changed their name to the Harbor Hawks. Here's the 3-2, swung on, a slow bouncer off to the left side, rolls foul. We'll do it again, 3 balls, 2 strikes. A few teams had to change their name when MLB cracked down on Cape Cod teams taking the names and logos of MLB teams, among them the former Orleans Cardinals, who are now the Orleans Firebirds. We're going to head to Orleans tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for the second road game of 2018. Here's the 3-2. Lefner checks on the runner again. Of course, some teams stuck with the Major League names. They had to pay a little money to Major League Baseball and to those teams, among them the Harwich Mariners. Changed their logo slightly as to not resemble the Seattle Mariners. Here's the 3-2 from Lefner. Runner goes. Here comes the throw. It's off target, and he slides in safely. It was strike 3, so Lefner records his first strikeout, but Matthew Barefoot moves over to second base. So the strikeout represents the 7th strikeout of the day for a Cotuit pitcher. The first for Lefner, and now here's Pedro Pages, who's 0 for 2 with a walk, a groundout, and a strikeout. Lefner trots over to the plate to have a quick conference with Humphreys. Not something you'll see too often, usually the catcher coming out to the mound, but that time Lefner eager to have a word with his catcher. And the two meet in the middle. 4-1 ball game if you're just joining us. 7th inning, Hyannis is on top. The runner at second is Barefoot. He takes his lead. First pitch to Pages, lazy swing and a miss for strike 1.
Activity in the Kettleers bullpen, Sam. Down the left field line, it's the southpaw, Joey Walsh out of Boston College, getting loose.
0-1 count with 1 out. Lefner sets, and here's the pitch. Fastball pinned on the outside corner, and now an 0-2 count. Some arms in the Kettleer bullpen were dynamite against Wareham as Lefner takes a quick pause to tie his right cleat. Stephen Schock, he struck out 3. Joe Boyle also struck out 3 in an inning of work, and he was just gassing by the Wareham hitters. They had no idea what was coming from Boyle, who mixed up that 99-mile-per-hour fastball very nicely with his slider. Told us earlier today he once went 101 in South Bend. The 6'7 righty has gas. 0-2 count to Pages. The pitch is high and outside for ball 1. 91 on the fastball from Lefner.
Looks like another pitcher has gotten up in the bullpen, a right-hander in addition to Walsh.
Pages fouls one off to keep it 1-2.
Be a good time for those binoculars. I believe that's Mathieu Gauthier, the Canadian out of NC
nice
State.
French.
Yeah, I know.
I like your pronunciation
I
there.
think he introduced
Mathieu
himself
Gauthier.
as Gauthier.
Yeah, Gauthier.
I tried to go full on with the accent there. It just kind of
Mathieu
slipped
Gauthier.
out.
1-2 count. Lefner sets, kicks, and fires. It's a little bit low, so we'll move that count to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Also, Stephen Schock. I see.
He's on the prowl.
Yeah, he's always on the prowl. The big righty out of UMBC. We had a nice chat with him earlier this afternoon at the Cotuit Market. Here's the 2-2 fouled off straight back. And we'll do it again as one of the Cotuit Bat Boys grabs the ball. Yeah, Schock on the prowl, the submarine righty. A returning Kettleer, 1 of 5, and certainly a favorite of head coach Mike Roberts. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. 4-1 Hyannis, top of the 7th. Barefoot takes his lead at second, and it's a healthy one. Time called. As the batter Pages steps off, stretches his back momentarily, and now digs back in. Leffner sets, holds the ball in his glove at belt height, and readies for the 2-2. His attention is all on the runner. Looks like Barefoot's in his head, and he steps off the bag. We're going to have to do a ranking of best names across the Cape League. I think Matthew Barefoot might be in the lead right now. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. A great pitch there from Ryan Leffner. That's 2 consecutive strikeouts. His second. And here's Vinny Pasquantino.
That's a big out, and now we need 1 more just to get out of this inning. That is a huge run out there in second base and Barefoot. Want to keep this to a 3-run game. Still have 9 outs to work with from an offensive perspective. Leffner doing a nice job with the back-to-back strikeouts there.
Pasquantino going to be intentionally walked, it seems, as Zach Humphreys is upright on his feet. And I'm curious as to why they would intentionally walk Pasquantino here, Sam, with 2 outs.
Yeah, maybe it's for a matchup that they want. I believe Joey Walsh has stopped warming up in the pen and seems to be on standby to come into this ball game. So maybe they really want to get Walsh in there to face Trella, who's next up.
Here comes Trella. Let's see if there's any action.
Good point. It's for the force at first, second, or third. That's why. That's Baseball 101. That's my bad.
Alex Trella now in the game, the righty. Pasquantino was going to bat lefty there against Leffner. He's a switch hitter. All up and down this lineup. No true lefties for Hyannis. Just a few switch hitters. And here comes Alec Trella now to face Leffner, and he takes strike 1. So Cotuit opting to take the force out. Double play not in play with 2 outs. It's an 0-1 count for Trella here in the 7th. Leffner sets, kicks, and fires. Little check swing from Trella. Appeal to the first base umpire, says yes, he did go around. And it's an 0-2 count. Runner on second is Barefoot. On first is Pasquantino. An 0-2 count. Here's the pitch to Trella. It's outside in the dirt. Humphreys takes his helmet off, flashing the TCU logo on the back of his helmet. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Leffner looking to keep the game within striking distance for Cotuit. He sets. Runners go. Here's the pitch. It's a chopped ground ball to third. Jones charges in, fires across the diamond, gets it to Robertson in time for the out. And we stay at 4-1 Hyannis entering the bottom of the 7th. It's time to stretch, people. Get up, stretch, and get ready for the last 2.5 innings of this ball game. It's 4-1 Hyannis entering the bottom of the 7th. This is Cotuit Kettleer Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Back here in Cotuit, it's 4-1 Hyannis, bottom 7. Sam Brief alongside Sam Niederman and the rest of our Cotuit Kettleer production team. A lot of dogs at the park today. A lot of people too, of course, as is usually the case. 4 runs on 6 hits for the visiting Harbor Hawks. 1 run on 6 hits for Cotuit. And Sam, it's not like Cotuit has had any shortage of chances. We've had some clutch hitting. Zach Bierman and Thomas Dillard each with doubles. We have singles from Zach Humphreys, Andrew Smith, Peyton Burdick. But just 1 run crosses the plate. It's been a pretty quiet day offensively for the home team Kettleers.
Yeah, 4 straight frames with runners left on base. Left 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 4th, and 1 in the 3rd. And that's not going to cut it, and the Kettleers have to find a way to get these runs across. They've been getting guys on base. Now it's just a matter of finishing. And it looks like with the bottom of the order coming up, Mike Roberts is going to elect for a pinch hitter. Bo Brundage is going to get the call here late in this game, bottom of the 7th, to try and supply a spark.
And here comes Mr. Brundage, a graduate, not a graduate yet, but from Portland University. 0 for 3 yesterday against Wareham, as you hear the loud Bo behind us from our public address announcer, Roy Reese. Announcing that Bo Brundage has entered the game. He'll replace Andrew Smith in center field and batting in the 7th spot to follow the duo of Horned Frogs. Humphreys, or rather Oviedo first, and then Humphreys. But here's Brundage. Roberts likely also going for the righty-lefty matchup here is Hayden Kettler. The righty is back on to work the 7th inning. Let's see if Brundage can get some pinch hit magic here. First pitch from Kettler is outside. Ball 1. Kettler originally from Frisco, Texas, then attending Baylor as Brundage fouls that one off to the left side over the third base grandstand. And bouncing into the little courtyard behind there here at Lowell Park. It's a 1-1 count. Just past 7 o'clock local time here in Cotuit, Mass. The sun's starting to set. Crisp bite in the air as Brundage pops one in foul territory. Wilkie takes off his helmet and makes the catch just in front of the Cotuit dugout on the third base side, out 1. So Brundage not able to get anything going there. As he pops up to the catcher, now here comes Adam Oviedo looking to do some magic for the Kettleers, who have plated 1 run on 6 hits. Now in the bottom of the 7th. Oviedo takes a deep breath and digs in, holds his black bat on the right shoulder, and now sets, takes a big swing and a miss for strike number 1. Oviedo flew out to center field in the 3rd, and then reached first, came all the way to 3rd, did not score. That was on a 6-4 fielder's choice. The 0-1 from Kettler, swing and a miss, strike 2. Normal depth for the infield and outfield of the Harbor Hawks. In their away blue jerseys with the white pants. Oviedo sets. He's in an 0-2 hole. The long windup in the delivery. It's inside, bounces off the glove of the catcher Wilkie and rolls behind home plate, where Keaton Wise picks it up. I think he's going to come into pinch hit. It's a 1-2 count. Oviedo taps home plate, gets in his stance, and he sets. Here's the pitch from Kettler, swing and a miss. That's strike 3 for Kettler. And his 5th strikeout. He's been really good in relief. This was a game started out by Houston Roth, the Ole Miss Rebel, but Sam, Kettler's been really good in relief now with 5 strikeouts.
He's taken over. 5 strikeouts, as you mentioned. He's only scattered around 3 hits in his performance so far. Hasn't allowed a Kettleer run, and that's been big for them so far.
Keaton Wise coming in. Infielder out of Coastal Carolina. He'll replace Zach Humphreys. Not sure if he'll come in defensively. He's not a catcher, so we'll probably have a defensive substitution after this pinch hit. Wise normally a third baseman out of Coastal. 5'8", 160, entering his senior year. Native of Poway, California.
I'll probably put Jones behind the plate. That would be my guess, because Kettleers do not have another catcher on the bench.
Jones often plays catcher over at Davidson, and Wise takes ball 1 outside. So he originally started at Auburn, transferred from Auburn to Coastal, sat out the 2017 season per the NCAA transfer rules. And now here's the 1-0, and Wise takes it and fouls it off to the right side. 1-1 is the new count. Wise is a triplet. He's got 2 twin brothers. One is Zachary, one is Chandler. They both play baseball, Zachary at Cal State Fullerton, Chandler at St. Mary's. Also an older brother, Alfonso, who previously played at the University of Arizona. 1-1 coming to Wise. Swung on and cranked out into right field. It's skied high for the right fielder, Elliott, who comes in and makes the catch, representing out number 3. That ends the inning. 2 strikeouts and a flyout for Hayden Kettler, who is just mowing down Kettleers. And it's 4-1 Harborhawks coming into the 8th. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleer Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Ready to start the 8th inning here at Lowell Park. 4-1 in favor of the Hyannis Harborhawks over the Cotuit Kettleers, and a new pitcher on for the Kettleers making his 2018 debut. Mathieu Gauthier, a right-hander out of NC State, will come on to pitch the 8th inning for the Ketts. 6'1", 160-pound junior out of Quebec, Canada. And the first Canadian pitcher in NC State program history. He had a good season with the Wolfpack. 4 starts, a 0-0 record amounting to a 4.01 ERA. He comes on to make his Cotuit debut, Sam, and this is going to be exciting as he arrived earlier this week on Monday, driving in from Montreal, I believe, and he's finally in a Kettleer uniform, the Red Shirt Friday uniform, and a chance to show his stuff against the Hyannis lineup facing 6, 7, and 8, Haver, Durr, and Lott to begin this inning.
Little Canadian flavor, some international love here at Lowell Park, and let's see if Mr. Gauthier can hold this game at 4-1 and give the Cotuit Bats a chance.
Cloudy skies have parted slightly above Lowell Park as now we have patches of blue overhead. The big green trees in the outfield, darker as ever with some of the overcast. You can see the sun peeking out just as slightly over on the left beyond the third base grandstand. Kettleers need a little bit of life in this game, and maybe Gauthier is the one to supply it. As his team will trail by 3, he'll try and hold it right there, facing 6, 7, and 8 in the Hyannis order. Trevor Haver to lead things off to start this inning. First pitch from Gauthier, a called strike right at the knees, and it's 0-1. Haver on the day, he's had a good one. 2 for 3 with 2 runs batted in, including a solo shot back in the 4th inning. The 0-1 from Gauthier, that's down low, and I think the home plate umpire, Rick Emerson, took the brunt of that one.
I heard ooh.
Yeah, a guttural reaction down there behind the plate, and hopefully Emerson is okay. He seems to be walking it off down there.
Umpires in the black. How do you feel about that, Sam? I know you like the powder blue umpire uniforms.
Well, here's the 1-1 from Gauthier. Breaking pitch that's turned foul just in front of home plate. And it's 1-2. With it being a little bit of a cooler day, I do like the black, Sam. There's coat on behind the plate for Rick Emerson. Looks like he's ready for the Fall Classic out there.
Yeah, I like the coat. That's a World
early in the
Series type
season,
coat.
baby. I like it. The windup and the 1-2 from Gauthier dives inside on a curveball, and it's now 2 balls and 2 strikes on the batter and Hauver.
I still think blue is the move. At Cotuit, when you get the early 5 o'clock starts, it still feels like daytime. Sun's still shining a little bit.
I think the power navy would work well today, too. The 2-2 spoiled over onto the left side. That will be taken by Wise, who's into the game. And it's a 5-3 put out for out number 1. So Keaton Wise introduced into the ball game defensively for Cotuit, who pulled the double switch. Wise pinch hit for Zach Humphreys, the catcher, in the last inning. He goes to third base. Eric Jones moves from third base to behind the plate. He's doing the catching this inning. 1 out and nobody aboard, and the new batter is Todd Lott. Or I beg your pardon, it's Nick Durr. Lott on deck. 7-hole batter, and Durr takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Or check that, again, Adam Elliott, who came in as a sub.
A lot of subs in this one.
That's right. The 0-1 from Gauthier is low, and it's now 1-1. Elliott getting his first at-bat of the afternoon. Came on defensively back in the 6th inning to relieve an injured Durr. The 1-1 from Gauthier. Down low again with a curveball. Trying to find the right feel on that pitch, and it's now 2-1. 4-1, Hyannis over Cotuit. Top of the 8th inning. 1 out and nobody aboard. The batter is Adam Elliott. Gauthier's 2-1, fanned and missed, and it's now 2-2. A nice little changeup that time from Gauthier. Cotuit infield playing straight up. The 2-2 delivery. Line drive, shortstop. Oviedo spears it out of the air with the left hand, and that's out number 2.
He didn't hit it where they ain't. Oviedo was right there on point. Hardly had to move a muscle. Just crouched down into the defensive position. Made a nice stab out of midair for out 2.
So now Todd Lott is the batter for Hyannis. He'll dig in with 2 outs and nobody on base here in the top of this 8th inning. Hyannis with a 3-run pad over Cotuit. The windup from Mathieu Gauthier. And a breaking pitch in the other batter's box blocked by Eric Jones for ball 1. Todd Lott, another big contributor today for Hyannis. The solo shot back in the 3rd is what started things off in the Hyannis hit parade. Another breaking pitch down low, and it's now 2-0.
Sam, I know you're a fan of the Stephen Schock sock look. Looks like Mathieu Gauthier had a very similar, with the pants just cuffed up enough to show a bit of the sock.
2-0 lifted high in the air, right center field. Burdick is under it. He's got a beat on it, and he'll make the catch, and that's out number 3. So Mathieu Gauthier comes on for a clean 1-2-3 inning in his Kettleers debut. He'll hold it at a 4-1 Hyannis lead as we head to the home half of the 8th inning. Kettleers need some runs. We'll be right back on bottom of the 8th inning, and the Cotuit Kettleers need some offense, trailing 4-1 against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks here at Lowell Park. Top of the order will get a crack at it. Will Robertson to lead things off. Peyton Burdick due up on deck, and Zach Bierman, the 3-hitter, in the hole. And hopefully we can get to the cleanup hitter and Thomas Dillard. should one of these batters reach base. Same pitcher on for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. It's Hayden Kettler working into his 4th inning of play. He's been rock solid in relief, scattering around 3 hits, not allowing a run so far through 3 innings out of the pen. Will Robertson will step in, left-handed batter to start things off for the Kettleers. Kettler winds up and deals in a first pitch off speed for a strike number 1 on the inside part of the plate.
Tongue twister for those of you at home. Say Hayden Kettler and then the Kettleers back-to-back 10 times fast.
The 0-1 from Kettler dashed outside. It's 1-1 on Robertson. Robertson 1 for 3 today. He had a single back in the 5th inning. Kettler looking in, out of the windup, working with Wilkie behind the plate. Here's the 1-1. Ripped high in the air, right field. Back on his horse is Elliott, and he'll make the catch just 2 steps before the right field fence. Will Robertson clobbers that ball, but unfortunately it stays in the yard for an allowed out number 1.
Boy, he got a good lick on that one. A pitch high in the zone, right down the middle. Robertson put a full swing on it, right on the sweet spot. Just yoked it out into right field, and that was oh so close to a home run. Off the bat, I was sure it was gone, and Lowell Park wanted to keep that one in.
1 out and nobody aboard for Peyton Burdick, as Kettler will wind up and deal a first pitch breaking ball that goes just nipping the upper part of the zone for strike number 1.
A wide strike zone for Rick Emerson. Those bang-bang calls on the outside corner usually go strike.
And there's a swing and a miss on a good changeup, and Burdick behind in the count 0-2.
A lot of times a strike zone like that can force a hitter like Burdick to stretch and swing at a pitch maybe he shouldn't. That was a great example.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Fooled him once again with the breaking pitch, and it's a 3-pitch strikeout of Peyton Burdick, and out number 2 for Hayden Kettler on the mound here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
6 strikeouts now in 4 2/3 for Kettler. He looks real sharp out there.
Sun starting to peek through the clouds and just beam a little bit of hope, possibly, here onto Lowell Park. A little extra light than we had the last few innings with the cloudy skies, and maybe that's symbolic of the Kettleers trying to mount a comeback, but down to their last 4 outs. And Zach Bierman will step in and take an off-speed pitch off the plate for ball 1. 2 outs in the bottom of this 8th inning, and Hyannis in the driver's seat up 4-1. The windup from Kettler and the pitch. Nubbed right up the middle. Off the mound, it took a bounce into the arms of Trella, who'll throw on to first for the final out of the inning. So 1-2-3 at the top of the order for the Kettleers, still unable to solve the riddle of Hayden Kettler on the mound out of the bullpen. We head to the 9th. 4-1 Hyannis. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Top of the 9th inning, and it's 4-1 Hyannis over Cotuit still, and Cotuit will run out another new pitcher. It's Garrett Gale, the right-hander out of Rice University. He'll be making his 2018 debut, a 6'1", 180-pound junior out of Cypress, Texas. Coming on for the 9th to try and hold it to a 3-run deficit for the Kettleers, facing 9-1-2 in the Hyannis lineup. First look we've seen of Gale in this 2018 season. He'll be coming on for the Kettleers as their 5th different pitcher used today. Griffin McLarty got the start and went 4 innings, giving up 3 runs. Jacob Dexter came in for 2 innings, allowing 1 run. Ryan Leffner and Matthew Gauthier each won an inning of shutout ball in the last 2 frames. Due up, it's Kyle Wilkie, the catcher, along with the top of the order, Matthew Barefoot and Davis Wetzel for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. 4 runs on 6 hits and no errors for Hyannis so far. Cotuit with 1 run on 6 hits and 1 error. Sun has started to override some of the clouds over to our left, and a lot of blue sky over Lower Park now. Partly cloudy still as the sun getting ready to set. Now some of those trees in the outfield have a little bit of a lighter green tone to them with some shadows out casting into right field. Peyton Burdick with the shades on the brim of the cap right now. He might want to bust them out if he so pleases.
The only Kettleer in the sun right now. Those trees look real beautiful in the sun, man. Now it's getting a little lighter out. I think it's time for the umps to bust out that powder blue.
Yeah. So Wilkie, the leadoff batter, and the first pitch from Garrett Gale, a good fastball that's cut on and missed for strike 1, 94 miles an hour on the radar gun there from the Rice Owl and Gale. Keaton Wise remains at third base. Eric Jones still behind the plate for the Kettleers. The 0-1, good fastball catching the upper outside corner, 96 that time, and it's 0-2. Outfield shaded over to the right so slightly. That's Andrew Smith manning center field. Garrett Gale, long lean in. The right-hander comes set and deals. 0-2, fought off foul back to the fence right behind us at home plate, and it's 0-2 still. Kettleers scored their only run of this game in the bottom of the 4th inning to make it a 3-run game at the time, but Hyannis struck once again in the 6th as Alec Trella scored on an RBI double from Trevor Hauver. And there's a swing and a miss from Wilkie, and it's a strikeout from Garrett Gale, and that's out number 1 of the inning.
Good pitch by Gale. Kind of fooled Wilkie. The off-speed stuff looked like a changeup, a little low and inside, and Wilkie just never had a chance. Really hard to hit a pitch like that with a normal swing. He was swinging for down the middle. The pitch was inside, and Gale fooled him.
Pop-up foul off to the right side from Matthew Barefoot as Gale gets ahead in the count 0-1. Barefoot has reached base twice today, once with a double back in the 3rd. He was hit by a pitch in the 7th, much to his trademark. The 0-1 from Gale. Slapped back foul again, and it's 0-2. Like you said, Sam, earlier in the broadcast, 23 times Barefoot hit by a pitch in college this season. If he started a count in the Cape, he's already got 1 today. No balls and 2 strikes on Barefoot, the leadoff man for Hyannis. Gale delivers the 0-2. Swing and a miss on a curveball in the dirt. Dropped by Jones. He'll have to throw on to first, and he does so nicely. And it's a drop 3rd strike and out number 2 here in the top of this 9th inning.
All right, Gale looks good. I mean, at this point in the game, obviously you want to hold Hyannis and give your hitters a chance. Cotuit hopefully will be just trailing 4-1 heading into the 9th, 2nd day in a row. But Garrett Gale looks good. Maybe one of the top arms in the bullpen. We'll see him throughout the season.
New batter is Davis Wenzel. He'll have a chance here with 2 outs and nobody on. Harbor Hawks up 4-1 to it. Here's the first pitch from Gale. Fastball that's low for ball 1. Wenzel on the day, 1 for 4, had a double back in the 1st. Struck out in his last at-bat in the 7th. The 1-0, lifted high in the air on the right side. Robertson twisting his hips to try and make a play on it, but he's called off by Corey Joyce, who will bag it for out number 3. So, Garrett Gale comes on and looks strong in the 9th. He does his job. Can the Kettleers do theirs in the home half? They trail 4-1 against Hyannis when we come back here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Last chance for the Cotuit Kettleers here in the bottom of the ninth, down 4-1 against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, and they'll be facing a new pitcher on for the save situation. Gavin Hollowell, big right-hander, will have a chance for the Harbor Hawks. 4, 5, and 6 due up for Cotuit. Thomas Dillard with a chance to lead things off here with 4-1 the score here in the ninth. First pitch from Hollowell, way outside with a fastball. It's 1-0. Couple of Kettleer fans waving the new white rally towels that were given out before today's game. The 1-0 up at the belt with a fastball, and it's called for a strike by Rick Emerson behind the plate, and that'll even the count 1-1. Dillard batting as a lefty in this at-bat. Here's the 1-1. Chopped over to the left side. Wenzel has a chance to make the play. He double clutched it, but eventually went over to first and made a good throw, and that's out number 1. Interesting right there, as Wenzel had to come on for that one. Maybe had transition problems getting it out of his glove. Double clutch, but eventually made a nice throw on to first for out number 1.
Gavin Hollowell, an imposing presence on the mound, 6'7", 210. Same height as Joe Boyle for the Kettleers. Out of St. John's, a native of Skillman, New Jersey, is the rising junior for Hyannis.
Eric Jones, the new batter, with 1 out and nobody aboard. First pitch is a 98-mile-an-hour fastball that runs in. It's 1-0. Kettleers down to their last 2 outs. Eric Jones trying to get something started. The 1-0. Fastball, that's a good pop of the mitt, and that's in there for a strike, 1-1. Hyannis defense straight up. Cotuit trailing by 3 runs, down to their last 2 outs. Eric Jones at the plate. The windup and the 1-1. Whipped in there with a good off-speed pitch, a slider, strike 2. Kettleers' next game tomorrow at Orleans. We go down to the Lower Cape for the first time this season. 7 p.m. first pitch. The 1-2, whipped outside again with an off-speed pitch, and it's 2-2.
That'll be a fun road trip.
That's right.
The first 2 road trips of the season, both ends of the Cape. Well, Wareham technically off Cape across the canal, and then all the way out east at Orleans tomorrow.
The 2-2 from Hollowell. Cut on and fouled back towards the Kettleers dugout on the left side. So be sure to join us about 10 minutes before first pitch. We'll be live from Eldridge Park. Cotuit at Orleans. That's tomorrow, right here on the Kettleers Baseball Network. Gavin Hollowell, the new pitcher, with an opportunity to sit down Eric Jones. It's a 2-2 count with 1 out. Here's the windup and the pitch. Up and away, and Jones takes to live another day. It's full count now, 3-2. Third base grandstand, a little more sparse than it looked earlier. But the home faithful sticking around. Here's the 3-2. Inside, and that's ball 4, and it's a 1-out walk for Eric Jones, and that'll give the Kettleers a base runner here in the bottom of the ninth. And now a pinch hitter on. Corey Joyce being lifted for Corey Wood at second base, and the Coastal Carolina Chanticleer will have a chance as a pinch hitter here in the ninth to get things going and extend this inning for the Kettleers.
The Coreys switching it up. Let's see if we can get something from this pinch hit spot from Corey Wood. Second day in a row to its last 3 outs, facing a 4-1 deficit. Yesterday against Wareham, Will Robertson was able to scrap together a run on an RBI single, make it 4-2, and give the Kettleers a fighting chance. Let's see what happens here, Sam.
Hollowell out of the stretch, throws a first pitch down low for ball 1. Wood, the left-handed batter, getting his first opportunity today. Bo Brundage, who came in as a substitute earlier in this game, waits on deck. 1 out in the inning. Kettleers down by 3. Hollowell with the 1-0. That's just off the plate, but called for a strike by Rick Emerson, and that'll even things up 1-1. Brady North, the first base coach, giving instruction to Eric Jones, who takes a lead at first. Nobody holding on for the moment. Infield at double play depth. Hollowell's 1-1, way up and in, and it's now 2-1. Hitters count for Corey Wood, the pinch hitter on for Corey Joyce. 4-1 Hyannis, bottom of the ninth inning. Kettleers playing with their last 2 outs in the middle of their order. Hollowell comes set, athletic stretch stance. Here's the pitch. Grounded right back up the middle, but stabbed by Hollowell, who throws to second for one, on to first, and it's a game-inning double play for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, who snatched that one away. An opportunity for the Kettleers goes dry, and the Harbor Hawks take this game here at Lowell Park, 4-1 the final. Hollowell with a nicely executed 1-6-3 double play on a one-hopper right back at him, and that ends the game, and it ends the Kettleers' threat in the ninth. A tough way to go down for Cotuit. So, 4-1 the final. Hyannis comes out on top. They take game one of the 2018 Barnstable Patriot Cup. We'll come back with final stats to wrap it all up when we come back here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. The Kettleers fall short today at Lowell Park, falling to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 4-1, the final in Game 1 of the 2018 Barnstable Patriot Cup. Hyannis with 4 runs on 6 hits, no errors. Cotuit 1 run on 6 hits and 1 error. The Kettleers strand a total of 6 base runners, including one in that last inning. A 1-6-3 double play ends the threat. A hard hit ball right back up the middle, but Gavin Hollowell, the Hyannis closer, stabs it on a one-hop, goes with a 1-6-3 double play. Pinch hitter Corey Wood almost with a chance to extend the inning for the Kettleers, but nevertheless, that's how this game ends up. Sam Niederman alongside Sam Brief. Let's wrap this one up, Sam. Another tough loss for Cotuit, where the offense just wasn't really there today.
No, it really hasn't been there the last 2 days. 1 run on 6 hits today against Hyannis. Yesterday against Wareham, just 2 runs on 5 hits. And it's early in the season. There's no reason to overreact, just like there was no reason to overreact after that 10-1 opening day rout of Brewster. You know, you got a lot of temporary players right now, people just trying to feel out the park, feel out the wooden bats. A lot of the times it's an adjustment, and I think we're seeing some of those growing pains for Cotuit. But still, a lot of positives coming from this game. I thought Garrett Gale and Matthew Gauthier were excellent in relief. We saw a nice double into the gap from Thomas Dillard. Zach Bierman continues to impress in his second game as a Kettleer. So a lot of positive takeaways to bring into tomorrow's game against Orleans. But just one of those days. It's a long season. The offense just didn't have it today, and it's a loss.
Zach Bierman with the only run batted in today. He went 1 for 4 with an RBI double, back in the 4th. That scored Peyton Burdick, who went 1 for 4 today with a single. But other than that, not much doing for the Kettleers offense, as you mentioned, Sam. A couple of hits. Andrew Smith had a hit in his 2018 debut, but not much else doing against the Kettleers starters in this game against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. But you mentioned that pitching, Sam. Again, it looks to be the strong point early on for the Kettleers, both starters and relievers alike. Everybody looking strong. Let's start with Griffin McLarty. He gave up 3 runs as is on the hook for the loss today, but a good, decent 4 innings, and he looked pretty good with some strikeouts early on. He had 5 of them. Yeah,
that first two innings, McLarty was great. Gave up just the double to the 2-hole hitter, David Wenzel, but other than that, was mowing him down, strikeouts, groundouts, a lot of pitches low, keeping the ball in the park. But it was the 3rd and 4th innings that really did him in. Todd Lott smacked him for a leadoff home run in the third, and then Trevor Hauver came back with a leadoff home run to pretty much the same spot in straightaway right field in the fourth inning. Again, a leadoff home run, and that did McLarty in. It was big ball for the Harbor Hawks today. Those two swings of the bat really made the difference, put momentum on their side, and made it a win for Hyannis.
Solo home runs from Todd Lott and Trevor Hauver. Hauver goes 2 for 4 today with 2 runs batting in, including a double and that solo home run. Kettleers also threw out a couple of pitchers in the bullpen. Jacob Dexter came on for 2 innings. He only allowed 1 run on 2 hits, walked a batter, and struck out 1. Then everybody else after that looked pretty darn good. Ryan Leffner, 1 inning of shutout ball. He struck out 2. Matthew Gauthier makes his debut, a perfect inning. And then Garrett Gale came on, another 1-2-3 inning in which he struck out 2 as well. So a lot of encouraging signs from the Kettleers bullpen.
That's 2 games in a row where the offense has certainly been lackluster, but we've seen some great individual performances from the bullpen. Yesterday, it was Stephen Schock and Joe Boyle. Today, Matthew Gauthier alongside Garrett Gale from Rice, and that certainly is encouraging because you want to know early in the season with these bullpen spots, you want to know that that's going to be locked down later in the season, and I think we certainly have some mighty fine bullpen pieces out here in Cotuit.
A couple of housekeeping items before we sign this one off. Next game and next broadcast tomorrow at Orleans, 7 p.m. first pitch as we head to the Lower Cape. Kettleers' second road game of the year. Hope you'll join us then. We'll be on 10 minutes before first pitch right here on MixLR, the Kettleers Baseball Network. Hope that you can join us then. Sam and I will have the play-by-play all 9 innings here in Orleans at Eldridge Park. Can't wait to bring you that one as it's the Kettleers and the Firebirds tomorrow at 7 p.m. Cotuit and Orleans will do battle. And, of course, be sure to join us here at Lowell Park on Sunday, a Father's Day doubleheader against the Yarmouth Dennis White Sox. First game starting at 2 p.m. The next one to start approximately 30 minutes after. Remember, it's the blueberry pie eating contest between each game. That should be fun here at Lowell Park, a Father's Day doubleheader. We'll have the broadcast for those as well on Mixlr or online streaming live on YouTube. So be sure to join us tomorrow at Eldridge Park, 7 p.m. against Orleans. We'll talk to you then. Otherwise, we'll see you at the yard here on Father's Day with the YD doubleheader. For Sam Brief, and it gets confusing when we have